All right. So I did get a message from Wayne already this morning, and it says a bit cold, but I am fishing. So he's out and about doing his thing. One of the things that
you were famous on April Fool's Day years ago when you sent that thing for Ed Hanna.
Yeah, do you remember those days?
Yeah.
So that was, the fact is every year, I don't know, in my world on radio, it seemed like you had to have a big April Fool's prank. And I think it was 1997. We sent out because Mayor Hanna was, would you say volatile? At the very least, you'd say maybe volatile. So as Hanna was doing his thing, you can sit down, Davey, because she's going to be an hour getting ready over there. Holy moly! I'm kidding. As Hanna was doing his thing and his ranting and raving and all of that stuff, we sent out a press release that said, "That's it. I am resigning." We did it on City of Utica letterhead, and everybody ran with it. I think the OD did not. Might have been the only one that didn't, but really across the state they ran with it. And then the next few days after that came the time where they were threatening to arrest me and all of those, sue the radio station, all of those fun things.
I went to
that might be the greatest of all that I think I've ever been involved in.
I went to a Mayor Hanna press conference when I first started working here with the great late Ken Finelli.
Yes.
And Mayor Hanna said to him, quote, "You're the only honest reporter in this Utica market that I trust with the facts."
Okay. Well, that was Hanna's opinion, right?
Yeah.
And Ken Finelli was a good guy.
He sure was.
Okay, so we have a bunch to get to here today, here on this first day of April. We'll speak with Ryan Schmelz in a few minutes. Megan, you're set now. You're good because you've landed that whatever it is that I landed from.
Thank you so much,
Johnny.
Bill.
No, listen, you didn't get it from me. I had it 3 weeks ago. I don't know who you got it from, but.
So hopefully I didn't give it to you. I was just like ripping saline Sinex spray in the bathroom just a little bit ago, just to clear.
I'm confident that I'm not going to get it again. But I'm going to tell you, we were at the Radiothon when we were first both exposed to whatever
I was
it is.
far away from you guys, and I was going, oh, no.
Yeah. So we'll speak with Ryan Schmelz in a few minutes. There's a lot going. Tomorrow, the tariffs are supposedly going into effect. And
Liberation Day.
We'll get into that. Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio. We'll speak with her as well. Coming up in a few. Dr. Hall is on later on this morning. Hobica's free money question of the day. Davey is rip-roaring, ready to go. You're looking at how much money today here on this first?
$200.
1st of April, $200 on the line from the Hobica Law Firm. That's $100 for each of Joe Hobica's new grandchildren. In the last 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, he's had 2 grandchildren. Pretty awesome. Mayor Mike Galimi is in later this morning. We'll check with Greeley Ford. I believe Wisconsin and Florida are holding special elections today. Greeley is in Florida on the ground in one of those key districts that we would be in had Elise Stefanik actually been nominated, right?
Yeah.
I've got a cybersecurity analyst on later this morning, and we'll talk a little of the issues of April Fool's Day. What kind of pranks do you get involved in? My mom was always a big April Fool participator. Whether it be you get your egg sandwich in the morning and it'd be filled with a lot of salt or sugar, and then she'd say April Fools while you're gagging. She just loved the day, and usually before we went off to school.
There you go.
As there's a new Apple iPhone update out today that you probably should update to on your iPhone, and it will give you some additional features, and we'll go over some of those features a little bit later on this morning. As Megan had in the news, 10 former local corrections officers have now been charged in the beating death from back in December of Marcy Correctional Facility inmate Robert Brooks. They were in Oneida County Court yesterday, and they have made some plea deals to some of those who have been charged, 10 of them in this case. You have Matthew Gallagher with a count of murder, Nicholas Gentile tampering with physical evidence, Anzalone with the top count of murder, Farina charged with murder, Fisher, second-degree manslaughter, Kiefer with a murder charge, Kingsley with a murder charge, Mayshaw with a second-degree manslaughter charge, Walrath with a count of murder, and Walters on charges of second-degree manslaughter. This is
horrific.
A brutal case, and they have been offered plea bargain deals. We'll see
it seems their attorneys aren't telling them not to take it because it's essentially them pleading to the charges that they were already charged with.
Yeah.
And in order for them to accept the plea bargain, they have to plead guilty to the original charges. So it'll be interesting to see if they take it to court.
It's going to be a rough trial, though. I think you like in any deal, you really have to weigh the risks. And maybe they won't. We'll see what happens. I believe the
body cam footage though is damning, so they're going to have to contend with that. It caught everything.
Depending on their attorneys, they are scheduled back beginning in the middle of the month through the end of the month, and each one will have a chance to answer to the plea bargain deals that are out there. There's an interesting story out there today about there's a guy who has written a book on bear attacks.
Oh.
And it is something to think about here in New York State. And this time of year, April 1st, is always a good time to think about it. This is not an April Fool's joke. But there are an increasing number of bear spottings and potentially bear attacks on humans, and this is the time of year where they come out of their hibernation
and they're hangry.
When there are babies, bear cubs, and it's one thing that you really have to think about is if you come across a bear cub, get out of the area.
Do not approach with your phone to take a selfie.
A recent incident which goes back to 2023 involved a 7-year-old boy who was attacked by a bear in Westchester County. And these are, I understand, this guy who wrote the book is really focusing on all types of bears, but the bear of all bears is, of course, the grizzly bear in western United States. But these black bears that we have in New York, especially when placed in a position where they are protecting their young ones, can be very dangerous. And they say the key to an attack, when bears attack humans the most, the key to this is not to being alone. When you're alone, it just is a little bit more on the dangerous side. And almost always what ends up happening is you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. There are about 10,000 black bears in New York State. And as we said, they end up down here more than we normally expect. Yeah. Supposedly, you're supposed to get large and loud and
you're supposed to. It's bear hazing.
But what do you do when the bear doesn't buy that?
You back away slowly. You don't turn your back on the bear. And if you have bear spray, have that handy.
Okay. You've been approached by a bear.
In Connecticut, they've become a problem because there's no bear hunting season. So these bears do not have a healthy fear of humans as New York bears do, because we do have a hunting season for these animals. And we have 10,000 versus Connecticut, I believe, has 700 bears. But it's like every single week and every other day in the news, bear breaking into a car, bear breaking into a home, bear going into a campsite, stealing food, getting comfortable with animals, problem bear. It's getting to the point where I feel very well versed in bear safety because I keep seeing the headlines from my old state.
Okay. Well, obviously, if you're in the Adirondacks, bear sightings are a big deal. And I remember as a kid when we would go camping, that was just a thing. People would go to the landfill at dusk, and the bears would come out and pick through the garbage, and there were just some crazy people.
They would have their bibs on.
There were just some crazy people who would put their babies on the hood of a car, and in order to get a picture. By the way, back then they were getting pictures that they couldn't preview. You were hoping that was a good picture, and the other part is you're really putting yourself in danger. In the book that this guy has written, he talks about 10 different bear attacks. And one of them was a woman who did everything right. She was a 25-year-old. She was camping. She made sure after cooking her dinner, she put all of the food in a knapsack, raised it into a tree, and then got into her tent. They later found her body, parts of her body, scattered all over the campsite. That was a grizzly bear. So anyway, it is that time of year when they're coming out and a little more ornery than maybe they are in the middle of the season.
And Bill, you remember, what was it, 2 years ago, that viral video of people snatching black bear cubs out of the trees to take selfies and dropping them? Do you remember that at all?
That one I don't remember.
Oh, I'll share it with you after the break.
Yeah. It's a little odd. Why would you want to do that? Knowing that, well, I guess you get your picture. I guess you get clicks.
Yeah, they're 15 minutes of fame.
Okay. Well, there you go. And then in a minute, we're going to speak with Ryan Schmelz. Congressional Republicans are preparing a bill that could limit judges from issuing nationwide injunctions that block President Trump's policies. I'm not sure where that's going. Probably nowhere, and may very well be contested by the Supreme Court or at the level of the Supreme Court. We'll see where it goes, although the Trump administration did get on executive privilege, did get a victory yesterday. And we'll talk about all of that with Ryan Schmelz coming up in just a few minutes. Megan does an update on the news. Coming right up, it's a Tuesday morning at WIBX.
WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 6:30. It is 33 degrees and cloudy outside. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. Well, today is April Fool's Day, so be careful what you fall for. While there may be no clear official origin, references to the 1st of April as a day of trickery date all the way back to the 14th century. The first recorded April Fool's Day was France, 1582. It's believed that April 1st was celebrated as New Year's Day before the Gregorian calendar changed New Year's Day to January 1st. Those who didn't get the word about that change, though, they were called fools, and people played tricks on them. The New York State budget is due today, and it is unlikely to meet the deadline. Democrats can't agree on pretrial discovery, and that's what's stalling budget talks. Governor Kathy Hochul is proposing changes to the laws that set stricter standards and rules around when and how evidence in criminal cases should be shared. Lawmakers were off Monday for the Muslim holiday of Eid and will likely pass a bill extending state spending for a few days. If they don't, they, along with other state workers, won't get paid. Governor Hochul's office has released a statement saying she continues to stand firm on her key priorities to pass a budget that makes New York safer and more affordable. There's clean drinking water flowing in Hoosick Falls, a decade after forever chemicals were found in the upstate village. In December 2015, residents of Hoosick Falls, it's in Rensselaer County near both the Vermont and Massachusetts borders, were told that PFOA forever chemicals were in the water system, likely from a plastics plant, and they were told not to drink it. Many complained of a slow government response. Monday, a new water line linking a new well source to a new water treatment plant to the village was completed. The $5.5 million cost came from a $45 million settlement between the state, plastics maker St. Gobain, and Honeywell. And this is not an April Fool's joke. This is legit. A new breast milk flavored ice cream. It's due in 9 months. Frida is celebrating its new 2-in-1 manual breast pump with the Sweet Treat. The ice cream does not contain real breast milk, but the flavor aims to bring out the sweet, creamy taste of breast milk. It's also fortified with the same nutrients found in breast milk, like omega-3 fats and vitamins like iron, calcium, zinc, and vitamins B and D. It is 6:32.
I think you're going to find that's an April Fool's joke.
No, it's legitimate.
Okay. Well,
it's legitimate, Bill.
You can have it. Please don't bring it into the studio.
I absolutely will not. It's 6:32. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Colder air now settling in. Didn't see any reports of severe weather yesterday, and that's a good thing. Clouds around give way to clear sky this morning. Mostly sunny out, or just above 40 this afternoon. And the gusty breeze will make it feel colder. Cold night tonight, low 20s. Teens into the Adirondacks. Chance of showers tomorrow late, mid-40s. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm, and 70 degrees by Thursday. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
33 degrees and cloudy. I'm Megan Stone.
Let me bring in Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio. I've got a couple minutes with you, Ryan. I apologize. Congressional Republicans putting a bill together that could limit judges from issuing nationwide injunctions. I'm not sure how far this is going to go. What do we know?
Yeah, I think that's the problem, is that it's probably not going to go very far. And of course,
hello?
We are losing it. I got you back.
There's powers of going to a judge you think is going to be friendly to your ruling, providing them with your case, and then hoping that they're going to rule in your favor. Republicans did that a number of times with a district judge in Texas who consistently, ruled against President Biden's student loan forgiveness programs.
It's also, if you remember, the big Democrat thing has been increasing the number of justices on the Supreme Court. You might have said that you were breaking up there, so that was a biggie.
For reforms to the Supreme Court too, as well. So,
right.
It's definitely it's been floated for sure.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see where it goes. My guess is it doesn't go too far, but we'll keep an eye on it. It certainly is the one thing the president has complained about is that these judges. Even calling for some of these judges to be impeached. That these judges are saying, wait a minute, some of these things that are being done are not legal. Although yesterday there was one ruling when it came to being able to fire heads of departments. The Supreme Court ruled in his favor, or actually it was a district court that ruled in his favor. That's likely to go to the Supreme Court. We'll see where all of it goes. Ryan, as always, we appreciate the quick hit this morning. Thanks so much.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, Ryan Schmelz with Fox News Radio. Quick break, and we'll come back. I got a bunch of stuff to get to before 7. And as we said, $200 this morning on Hobika's free money question of the day. Last week we were pretty successful. 2 winners last week. We'll see if we can keep it going here at WIBX.
Scott and Jill here from New York Sash. Business is booming, and we need more hands on deck.
That's right. We're hiring experienced installers, windows, siding, bath. If you know your way around a job site, we want to meet you.
Come to the showroom this Wednesday for our open interview day.
Bring your resume for on-the-spot interviews. No appointment needed, anytime from 9 till 2.
At New York Sash, we take pride in every project we complete because quality craftsmanship is what we're known for. And it's all thanks to our incredible team.
And when you're part of our team, your family, that means great pay, steady work, and a company that treats you right.
Plus, serious perks like company-provided tools, uniforms, continuing education, paid time off, and 401k.
Ready to take your career to the next level? Then don't miss our open interview day this Wednesday from 9 to 2 at our showroom. Bring your resume and meet us in person for an interview on the spot.
Or apply online anytime at newyorksash.com/jobs.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jose Lopez from the band Showtime.
I'm Justin from the band Showtime. We'll be the house band on May 10th at the Rome Capitol Theater during CNY On Stage Live.
It'll be a wonderful event full of great acts,
dancers, comedians, and singers.
And you could be one of those singers fronting the band Showtime on the Capitol stage.
Complete details at RomeCapital.com.
Are you ready to sing in the spotlight on the Capitol stage with Showtime?
We'll see you there.
Emergencies strike at any time without warning. When they do, food disappears fast. That's why prepared Americans trust My Patriot Supply, the leader in long-term emergency food storage, to protect their families. For a limited time, order their best-selling 4-week emergency food supply and get 4 free 72-hour food kits. That's 12 extra days of food at no extra cost. That's nearly 2 weeks of extra food, free, to keep your family secure. Plus, free shipping. Order by 3 p.m. for same-day shipping. All kits deliver 2,000 calories per day of easy-to-prepare meals with a shelf life up to 25 years. These kits that have been rated 4.8 out of 5 stars by tens of thousands of folks like you. When the next crisis hits, you'll be ready. Stock up now at MyPatriotSupply.com before this deal disappears. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com for your 4-week emergency food supply and 4 free extra food kits. MyPatriotSupply.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, some of the things that you can look for on your iPhone if you're updating your iPhone with this 18 point. I like these. It's the 18.4 iOS update. I do like these because it's almost like you're getting it. You've already done yours, or are you doing it now, Davey?
Oh, I'm doing it now, Bill.
Oh, okay. All right. You get some new features. It's like having, in some cases, they're sweeping changes. This, I would say, they're big changes, but nothing crazy. That it gives you the opportunity to almost feel like you have a new phone when you update. Are you an iPhone or Android?
I have an iPhone. Okay. I'm worried how it's going to affect the battery life. I have a 13.
Yeah, I don't know. Usually
you're the Mac expert.
Usually the updates actually give you better battery performance. But I do know that Apple just discontinued covering 2 models. I don't know which one. Anyway, they have their iOS 18.4 out. Some of the things that you can get now: smarter notifications and an enhanced control center. So prioritize notifications. Instead of getting everything, you may get the ones at the top that AI has determined are really more important for you. There's a dynamic island and privacy enhancements, features that will affect your Apple Watch, sports tracking and Apple News improvements. You're able to pick your team, and it'll follow through on the score if you're watching a baseball game or what have you. AI tools and messaging. The Playground app now features a sketch option where you can tell it to sketch something, and if you're working on a project and you want to include a little artwork, it'll sketch something for you. Get it pretty cool. And then the Smart Lock and HomeKit innovations, more subscription management. If you want to get rid of subscriptions or realize what you're paying for, sometimes people are paying for stuff they don't even know they're paying for. And they say there's an improvement to the Photo app and all of the photos you have, helping you with those. And then CarPlay has some updates as well for you to see on the dash of your car. Mm-hmm. I believe they have one line that could be an enlarged list of emojis on your CarPlay, depending on whether or not you use that in your car.
All right. Also, Siri's getting a couple of new voices too.
Maybe that is the case too. I've kind of stuck with the original, as much as it is the original. Some other stories out there. I thought this was interesting. They have created a dating app called Tribal, which promises a match without. And you say, how many people really take advantage of a dating app? I think it increases as people get older. I've met in this year alone, I've met 2 different couples who say they met online and would never have met each other had they not used the app.
Good for them.
I think I met a couple other people who are meeting people when they shouldn't be meeting people.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, the app says it uses your chatting. You chat for 72 hours, and then it will determine whether or not you are compatible without you seeing your partner's face.
Oh, so it's like a Love is Blind situation.
Correct. The creator of the Tribal app, Rachel Harker, explaining what it is. I think I've got this working here, what this is all about. Check it out. Nope, and it's not. I just had a feeling it wasn't going to. Based on psychology. Yeah, right. You know what happens whenever there's an update? Everything goes nuts.
Yep.
Here's another one. Women really, when it comes to, you'll hear this often, that women have better hearing than, say, men do. It turns out, according to science, women really do have better hearing. A brand new study found that men just don't hear as well as women. To me, it's more of a, I don't want to hear, so I'm not listening.
Yeah, it's the selective hearing.
By
It's like when
choice.
you're trying to call your dog and they don't respond until they hear a potato chip bag crinkle.
Could be. That may be it. The average woman has a 2 decibel advantage, however, and up to 6 decibels with some frequencies. Here is actual audio. Here it is.
Did you hear a word I just said?
Yeah, see, that's real right there. And a new dating app, as I mentioned, Tribal. Here is the woman who created the app, putting people together without them ever seeing a photo of each other, and the success that she's having. Here's what it's about.
Tribal is essentially a friendship and dating app, but it's really based on psychology, and it's all about combating loneliness and improving social connection, trying to use technology in a really positive way. So the profile build and the questions are all around compatibility and values, and that's how people are matched and brought together. And I guess the psychology behind that is having aligned values, really trying to just eliminate that kind of superficial swipe culture.
Well, I wonder if you are connected with someone you look at and say, I would not be attracted to that person at all. Maybe they're able to come up with that where
you run the risk,
where you
but
are.
if you have a great enough connection, sometimes it's the physical attraction. It comes. It's like they say women are more visceral creatures, that when they tend to fall in love with the personality. And yes, we do have that first spark. We all know what it is when you see someone and you think, oh, wow, they're good looking. But there is a little bit more on the back of the women's head that it's what my favorite comedian, Eliza Schlesinger, she has it down. She's way more eloquent than I am. But it's interesting how women fall in love over time and their feelings increase as they get to know their partner better.
Florida man has been arrested by authorities after breaking into.
He says nothing.
I don't have anything to say about that personally. My wife and I were in bed, and I looked at her and said, "Let's get married." And she said, "I think that's a good idea." And here we are today,
There you
27 years. And I can't imagine she looked at me and said, "Look at that beauty." Florida man has been arrested by authorities after breaking into a Pokemon card shop. These cards that at least my kids used to be all about have become extremely valuable.
Yes.
And in this case, the guy was attempting to steal Pokemon cards worth $15,000.
You're kidding me.
Here is the owner of Gorka's Poke Bam, Justin Gorka, talking about this is an attempted burglary.
I have zero sympathy. You don't do something like this. My heart was pounding the whole way here. Like, I had my life savings into this business. And I saw him right in the back. Right away, he said, "Hi, Justin. I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed." He was just sitting there in the back wall, handcuffed. He definitely knew what he was doing. He had knowledge, and he cut the power. He had a massive grinder, probably about this big with the wheel, cut the locks in the back. Good luck opening Pokemon cards in jail.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was just a big release for another set of them Pokemon cards on Friday.
People are going feral for them.
You know I'm a collector, but
I'm collector.
I'm not into Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, we used to have binders of them.
Yes.
And the kids have taken them, but
my mom sold my entire packs.
Those older cards are the ones that can have a real incredible value. You wouldn't even. And you know what happened to is now what I think is. That's an oversaturation. So now they're producing new ones, and it's really what happened to baseball cards, where there were so many sets that were being put out there, special sets. I mean, they realized there was money to be made, and they oversaturated the market, which killed. You can still find the older stuff that's worth something, but a lot of that stuff that came out in the 80s and 90s doesn't.
So, Bill, I keep reminding my mom that I had I had Pokemon cards. When I was studying abroad, she sold the entire lot for $5. And so I'm going through eBay and seeing, I had that card. Oh, wow, I could have had $1,500. Too bad she sold it for $5 in 2009.
There's probably a good chance there were some really valuable ones in there.
Oh,
and,
yes.
And your story that is the creepy story of the day, and we just recently flew. A woman went on, and I have to say we picked the worst seats. I'll talk about that in a bit. But nonetheless, a woman on TikTok went on to vent after she fell asleep on a cross-country flight, and the guy sitting behind her braided her hair while she was sleeping. He did one small braid in the back. She didn't get to confront him because she didn't get to see it until she ended up at her Airbnb and looked in the mirror. She was obviously furious about it, that he was touching her hair. Here's audio on this.
To the man that braided my hair while I was asleep on the plane, I need you to come forth immediately. You sat directly behind me. Some people might say, how did you let somebody braid your hair? First of all, when I get on the plane, I don't sleep, I hibernate. I remember specifically, I'm asleep on the plane and I hear ka-ch, ka-ch. And I said, who is taking pictures? And when I wake up, it's literally right in my ear. That's where I found the braid. Don't touch people while they're asleep. It's weird.
Absolutely. That's a little bizarre.
He was not only did he braid the woman's hair, but he took pictures of it afterwards. Why? God. Of course, to probably put it up on social media.
15 minutes of fame. But yeah. I want to know where her hair was. And because there is a new trend that I'm seeing with some people with long hair, they're putting it up and over the back. And so it covers the person's entertainment screen. You could see videos of that, and of course they're going, was I wrong for doing that? It just gets air behind my neck. I don't think it's a lot of people who are doing that, but I'm curious if she was one of them and the guy behind her just had it.
Well, he had to be able to get to her hair somehow, right? I mean, her hair had to be somehow in his space for him to be able to braid that. Maybe it's simply a message he was trying to send. I'm not sure that's a message that won't get you in trouble, however. Tanya Powers coming up in just a second. This morning, we'll speak with Tanya on the JFK files. So, interestingly, President Trump has basically released everything. And I keep reading stories talking about how really nothing new has come out of this. There is a hearing today in the House of Representatives. It's focusing on those JFK files. And who do you think they got to come in and testify? A celebrity. And we'll speak with Tanya about that coming right up at WIBX.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $4,000 of free windows? And when I say $4,000 of free windows, I mean $4,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $4,000 to get $4,000 free. You just get up to $4,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of these restrictions are income-based, and you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Kind of sounds like Beatles music, doesn't it? A little bit. This would be where Andrew would be singing along to it. But there are a couple of biopics that are coming out. Beatles, there's a John Lennon that's been released, and then a new Beatles, a whole bunch of that stuff, I guess, because we're in the anniversary section of like the 60-year anniversary of the Beatles. 63, 64, 65, all big years for the Beatles coming to the U.S. Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio on the line right now. During that time period, of course, it was horrific for many as the President of the United States was shot and killed, JFK. Now President Trump has released all of the JFK files. And are we getting everything I read, Tanya, says really nothing new has come out of this. Is there anything that stands out for you?
No, I mean, that's right. Most of this has already been declassified and was publicly available, apparently, according to the National Archives. That's not me saying that. That's them.
Right.
There are some 6 million records, according to the archives, 6 million pages of records in the Kennedy assassination collection, and they do say the vast majority of them had been declassified and made public before the most recent batch that Trump apparently put out. So. This is kind of where things are at this point. The testimony today, which
and
should
by
be
the way, I didn't preface that. It's celebrity testimony today, right?
Yeah. The task force on the declassification of federal secrets, the JFK files. This is not an April Fool's thing. This is an actual thing, apparently. This is from the Oversight Committee, is where this task force is sort of under the umbrella for. Matter of fact, you can watch it. It's at 2 this afternoon. I believe they're going to stream it. Looks like they're going to stream it on their website. If you just Google House Oversight Committee or Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets, their calendar will come up under the Oversight Committee's website, and you can look on the page and you can see on today's date, there's a hearing at 2 o'clock. Click on that link, and it will take you to the Task Force website with the what looks like it's going to be a streaming box there. The witnesses today include Oliver Stone. Of course, he made the 1991 film JFK that was nominated for 8 Oscars.
And he took a real he basically included opinion in that movie. He took a stance on what he thought happened. So it'll be interesting to see if he talks about how he backs that information up. The other 2 people who are going to be testifying also are. One of them has worked with Oliver Stone, James DiEugenio. He is one of the foremost researchers into the major assassinations of the 60s. He actually wrote the book that Oliver Stone's 2021 documentary, JFK Revisited Through the Looking Glass. It was based on DiEugenio's book, Destiny Betrayed. And Oliver Stone has actually called the 2021 documentary a bookend to between the 1991 film and then the 2021 documentary. He says it's kind of the bookend to that. And then the third person who's going to be testifying is Jefferson Morley, who's a former Washington Post journalist. He now has a Substack, and he basically talks about this. He's written several books on history, obviously the JFK stuff. He is going to be focusing, he said on social media, he's going to focus on the CIA's pre-assassination file on Oswald during the hearing. So there's going to be different aspects of what happened testified. It is hard to, when you look back on it, when you really just move yourself out and back up a little bit and look at it from a bigger view, it is difficult to think about how, here they have Oswald. Oswald then gets shot and killed, and it puts us in a position where you never get to cross-examine him, and you almost have the feeling that maybe Oswald knew too much, and Jack Ruby was there to make sure he didn't talk, and it has all the makings of a conspiracy theory.
Oh, I mean, people have definitely had those.
Yeah.
There's apparently some recent polling out that says that there are still people here in the country who believe that that JFK was killed as a result of a conspiracy. So, that's not far-fetched to say at all.
And then the problem you do have is you're now talking to people who have investigated what happened years later, not speaking with the people who are on the ground. Most of those people have now passed away.
Right. So it is more and more difficult to get testimony from the people who were there. Like you said, many of them have been lost, and I can't believe it's been 5 decades since the Warren Commission investigation was concluded, and that information was put out. But yeah, it's still a topic of people's interest, though.
Yep.
Clearly.
Clearly, Congress they're on top of it. We'll see what. I think the only way you could ever read all those pages of testimony and information that were released is really just to plug it into AI and let AI come back with a conclusion. But then, can you trust that? You really kind of wonder, right? Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Tanya, as always, we appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio. Do I have another one, or am I good to go to the
You're good to
the
go
top?
until the end.
Okay, right up till 9 o'clock. Then we're just going to keep it going. There is a story this morning, and I wonder if this is you're going to be dealing with these all day long. April Fool's stories.
Yes.
An iconic candy brand says it has a new name. They're no longer going to call them Sour Patch Kids. They are just going to call them Patch Kids, according to the company.
Wow.
Patch Kids.
How ingenious.
I think if this is an April Fool's joke, it's not a really great one. Patch Kids.
It doesn't roll off the tongue as well. It makes you think of the Cabbage Patch Kids.
A decision is final, they wrote. We cannot stand by and be called not sour in our comments anymore. They're saying that when people have Sour Patch Kids, they come back and say it's not really sour. So that's why they claim they're making this change. My guess is it very well could be a yet another little April Fool's joke there. Yeah. And there'll be a lot of them today. Revive Software Therapy. No joke. This could make your pain go away. Dr. Timothy Del Medico has completely gone all in on SoftWave therapy. It's FDA cleared, non-invasive, drug-free treatment for chronic pain, inflammation, and all joint issues. Ask about the $99 new patient special. Introductory discovery session includes a consultation with one of their doctors, possibly with Dr. Del Medico, SoftWave therapy treatment, and a treatment recovery plan and assessment. I had one of these done, and it looks like it'll be about 7 or 8 treatments for me when it comes to lower back pain. It really works with stem cells, and it simulates an injury, and those stem cells, naturally, your body pushes them to the injury and helps get rid of the pain. For me, it has worked. 315-725-8427, Revive Software Therapy, Dr. Timothy Del Medico.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
The polls are opening now in Florida. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. In 2 special congressional elections in heavily Republican districts, the GOP hopes to add to their slim House majority.
And if they go and vote, we are both going to be just fine and have great nights for President Trump.
State Senator Randy Fine running against Democrat Josh Wheel, who along with Democrat Gabe Alamon in the other race against Jimmy Petronas outspent the GOP candidates.
Florida's first congressional district was once held by Matt Gaetz, who resigned amidst an ethics investigation when nominated to be Attorney General for President Trump. Florida's 6th congressional district was held by Michael Waltz, now serving as the president's national security advisor.
Fox's Evan Brown. Polls open next hour in Wisconsin in a state Supreme Court election that'll decide if that court will remain liberal-leaning or shift to the right like Brad Schimmel hopes. He tells Fox.
Many of our election integrity laws are going to end up in front of this court, and we could see the rules our legislatures put in place in recent years to try to protect that election integrity get struck down by this activist court.
He's facing Susan Crawford, who claims Elon Musk is trying to buy the election, spending millions to back Schimmel. A Democrat spent all night talking in the Senate and is still going. Cory Booker railing against Elon Musk and the Trump agenda, slashing federal spending, with Booker worried about Social Security.
It's the hard-earned savings of working Americans, and it belongs to Americans. President and Elon Musk need to keep their hands off of it.
Now, the president's getting ready for what he calls Liberation Day tomorrow.
Fox has told President Trump's trade advisors have presented him with multiple tariff plans. This week, those reciprocal tariffs and 25% tariffs on all foreign-made cars are expected to kick in. There is still some information we don't know, including how many countries will be affected by those reciprocal tariffs and how these levies will be imposed.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. A Washington Post report of a potential 20% tariff on most imports sent stock futures falling after a March sell-off. The Dow dropped 4% last month. The NASDAQ lost double that. America's listening to Fox News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
President Trump is undoing something else from the Biden presidency, a legal challenge in Georgia.
Attorney General Pam Bondi has instructed the Justice Department to dismiss the federal lawsuit, which was filed in 2021 under former President Joe Biden. It challenged a Georgia election law passed by the state's Republican lawmakers after former President Trump's 2020 loss. The law makes it illegal to provide food or water to voters waiting in line to cast their ballots. Democrats said it was an effort to suppress voter turnout. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Now something new for the Justice Department to investigate.
President Trump was joined by musician Kid Rock in the Oval Office for an executive order signing directing the Federal Trade Commission and the Justice Department to crack down on the ticket reselling market.
These bots, they come in to get all the good tickets to your favorite shows you want to go to, and then they're relisted immediately for sometimes a 400% or 500% markup.
The administration says the BOTS Act, legislation intended to stop scalpers from using automated purchase technology, has been on the books for 8 years, but enforced just once. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The women's college basketball Final Four is set. Texas and Connecticut won last night to join South Carolina and UCLA. In baseball, an Atlanta Brave has been benched.
Major League Baseball announced an 80-game suspension for outfielder Jurickson Profar after he tested positive for a performance-enhancing substance. Profar agreed to a 3-year, $42 million deal with Atlanta in January after a career year with the Padres. Profar set career highs in batting average, home runs, and RBIs in 2024 while being named to his first All-Star team. Should the Braves make the postseason, Profar will not be eligible to play. Joe Morgan, Fox News.
Well, the Braves are still winless so far this year, beaten by the Dodgers 6-1. Atlanta's now 0-5. Los Angeles, the defending World Series champs, are 6-0. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. I'm Megan Stone. It is 32 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. A Frankfort police officer is recovering after suffering from smoke inhalation during an early morning fire yesterday. Frankfort police said the blaze erupted in a first-floor apartment at Streamside Manor just before 7 a.m. The officer joined first responders and ended up inhaling smoke when helping a senior citizen safely escape the complex. The officer, who is unnamed, received medical attention on site and is recovering. No other injuries were reported. The cause of the fire is under investigation, and authorities say it may have originated in the apartment's kitchen area. Yesterday, a special prosecutor offered plea deals to 10 New York prison guards indicted in the beating death of Robert Brooks, an inmate at Marcy Correctional. 6 officers face murder charges after body cam footage showed them brutally assaulting Brooks last December. 3 others are charged with manslaughter and 1 with evidence tampering. The offers require defendants to plead guilty, so one attorney is calling it not an offer, saying it simply means pleading to the current charges. The case continues this month with 3 prison employees already taking plea deals. Prosecutors are also probing another inmate death at Midstate Correctional. A student at Central Square Middle School has been taken to the hospital after being struck by a vehicle. Authorities say the 12-year-old girl was crossing Route 11 in front of the middle school yesterday when she was hit, and that several classmates witnessed the incident. The name of the girl isn't being released, but she was last listed in critical condition. The driver that struck her stayed at the scene and likely won't face charges. Counseling services will be available for students and staff today. More than 200,000 pounds of liquid egg products are being recalled because they may be contaminated with cleaning solution. The national recall was announced Friday by the USDA Food Safety and Inspection Service. The liquid egg products were produced earlier this month by Cargill Kitchen Solutions. Based in Michigan, the items were sent to distributors in Ohio and Texas and for food service use in Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Illinois, and Iowa. And today is April Fool's Day, so be careful what you see. While there may be no clear official origin, references to the 1st April as the day of trickery comes all the way back to the 14th century. The first recorded April Fool's Day was in France in 1850 or 1582. It's believed that April 1st was celebrated originally as New Year's Day before the Gregorian calendar. That changed it to January 1st, so those who didn't get the word about the change were called fools, and people played tricks on them. Your WIBX news time is 7:07. Here is your weather forecast.
Colder air now settling in. Didn't see any reports of severe weather yesterday, and that's a good thing. And clouds around give way to clear sky this morning. Mostly sunny out at just above 40. This afternoon, the gusty breeze will make it feel colder. Cold night tonight, low 20s. Teens into the Adirondacks. Chance of showers tomorrow late, mid-40s. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm, and 70 degrees by Thursday. I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
32 degrees under cloudy skies in downtown Marcy. Now sports.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
CDC recommends that people age 65 and older and those with moderate or severe immunocompromise should receive a second dose of seasonal COVID-19 vaccine 2 to 6 months after their last dose. Learn more and make an appointment at KinneyDrugs.com. Walk-ins are also welcome at all Kinney pharmacies.
Emergencies strike at any time without warning. When they do, food disappears fast. That's why prepared Americans trust My Patriot Supply, the leader in long-term emergency food storage, to protect their families. For a limited time, order their best-selling 4-week emergency food supply and get 4 free 72-hour food kits. That's 12 extra days of food at no extra cost. That's nearly 2 weeks of extra food, free, to keep your family secure. Plus, free shipping. Order by 3 p.m. for same-day shipping. All kits deliver 2,000 calories per day of easy-to-prepare meals with a shelf life up to 25 years. These kits that have been rated 4.8 out of 5 stars by tens of thousands of folks like you. When the next crisis hits, you'll be ready. Stock up now at MyPatriotSupply.com before this deal disappears. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com for your 4-week emergency food supply and 4 free extra food kits. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Hey, Central New York, this is Will Kane of The Will Kane Show, and you can now hear my show every weekday at WIBX. I do things a little differently when I'm behind the microphone because I turn it over to the listeners to learn and really dig into the issues that impact everyday Americans. The Will Kane Show lets you keep ahead of the headlines and understand what's really going on in the world with in-depth discussions from leading experts and the brightest minds. From politics to sports, nothing is off topic. Listen to The Will Kane Show weekdays at 6, only on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning. I thought we were talking yesterday with Luke Perry from Utica University about is it anti-Semitic to be against the Israeli war, the war in Gaza, and I don't believe that is. However, if you're targeting Jewish students on a college campus and harassing them for what they're and of Jewish descent, no less. Keep in mind, not even students who are from Israel. These are just people of Jewish descent. That is anti-Semitism. That is harassment, and that should be stopped. It is not covered by free speech. No. There is another story that, but it's tricky. So all of a sudden, the minute someone comes out against the war and maybe sympathetic to Palestinians in Gaza who are innocent, not everybody, but for the most part, women and children and people who are living there are probably innocent. To be sympathetic to them is not anti-Semitic. Could it be? It really could be. The person could be an anti-Semite.
When you're
but
saying...
that alone is not anti-Semitic, and I think we have to keep in mind that is it's a bit tricky, and I think that's really what Luke said yesterday. But here's something that is anti-Semitic. If you want a good one,
okay.
In Rockland County, this is in the Times-Union today. In Rockland County, a car wash, because this is anti-Semitic because they're going after Jewish people just because they're Jewish, and they're using stereotypes. So in Rockland County, a car wash there ran an illegal scheme. They did this from 2018 until 2024.
Oh my gosh, that recent?
Rockland County Car Wash Company targeted Jewish customers with a Passover promotion. And the promotion says, Happy Passover holidays, Passover packages and up during April 1st to April 23rd. You can take advantage of this offer. And the offer was that you were charged $169 for something that cost $47.
That's disgusting.
The service was advertised as a Passover special promotion targeting Jewish customers cleaning their cars to remove products in preparation for the Jewish holiday, which commemorates the Israelites' exodus from Egypt when they didn't have time for bread to rise, which is the origin of the holiday. The AG investigation found that Super Four Seasons had promoted similar Passover-specific services dating back as far as 2018, and that they nailed them this year. So
yeah, it comes across as immature.
I'm not sure I would describe it as that, but okay.
Well, it's like
I don't think the AG's office described it as immature, but if maybe it is immature.
Well, there are a lot of other words I would use, but it does come from a deep sense of immaturity and lack of empathy.
And I'll just call it anti-Semitic. You're going after I don't need to explain it any further. The reality is what is being charged $169 cost you about $30 for everybody else.
Yeah.
Just crazy. So there is an example.
Can you imagine if he said it was a Kwanzaa special? How much more he would have been blasted into the spotlight? Think about the difference between that.
Yeah.
I know it's like, but what about it? What about it? But again, it is anti-Semitic. I agree with it. And the person who has been doing it for how many years? To me, that's disgusting.
Mm-hmm. You're right. You're absolutely right. Let me go to Dr. Kent Hall, who is sitting there, I'm not sure which, Doc, but patiently, and your take on that issue. Obviously, that's horrible. And by the way, it's Rockland County, which is an area where you have many a large Jewish population down there. So anyway, terrible, right?
Yeah, what can you say? It's just taking advantage of people for any of their attributes, whether it's religion or anything, is just wrong.
Well, I can tell you right now how pissed off I get when I go to the state fair and they won't let me ride the rides because I'm not tall enough. I mean, that, Doc, is just very offensive. Of course, I meet the standard right now. I think I'm.
Yeah, he has a nice player platform heels.
I think yes, I do. Yeah, it puts me right over, just over that 49-inch mark. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Wonderful.
Sorry if I laugh.
April 1st.
Well, you've got you have. We were at the Heart Radiothon, and dealing with someone who you just wanted to say, you're really sick. Why in the world would you want to come here and slobber all over the microphones and spread what you have? And sure enough, within about 5 days, I had whatever that person had. And now it's been about 3 weeks, and Megan now seems to have the same thing. I know somebody else. It's this cold that and it involves runny nose really badly. And it just doesn't seem to go away quickly. What do we? It's just another variation of the common cold.
So it seems to be. I mean, the good news is that when you look at the statistics, flu cases are finally coming down. They're down pretty significantly. Although I will say that the total number of positive flu cases in New York State is significantly higher than it has been any year for like 15 years.
Yeah.
So this was a bad flu season. But in terms of what's going on now, it really is that we're getting into what's called the spring cold season, where people are getting sick, from a cold, and for whatever reason, and some of it may be related to the fact of the virus itself. Others may be related to the fact that we have been inundated with so many viruses, respiratory viruses, whether it's COVID or flu or, RSV or whatever, that our immune system is just saying, uncle. And so it's becoming a little bit harder for us to fight these things off. So it's hard to say for sure. It is true. I will tell you that it is definitely true that what you just described in terms of symptoms lasting longer and just not getting better as quickly as usual, that is absolutely the case. It is really just a matter of what the underlying cause is, and there's a lot of theories, but no definite smoking gun.
Yeah. All right.
And talking about insult to injury, not only are we inundated with a lot of respiratory viruses, it's in the news today that a different kind of virus is making a resurgence, the norovirus. Dr. Hall, can you tell us what's going on with norovirus and why it's not going away?
Yeah, so norovirus is never going to go away per se. It is a virus that we're going to live with, just like we live with, the multiple viruses that cause the common cold, and we will be living with COVID. But what happens is that you get these waves of outbreaks. So we had a very bad wave of outbreak in late fall or early winter, which kind of subsided, and now it's coming back again. And this is kind of the way it goes. Honestly, norovirus tends to be more of a springtime. If you were going to look at it from a seasonal standpoint, it tends to be more of a springtime virus for reasons not fully understood when you look at how it's spread. But that's just the nature of it. So this may be more. Maybe more in line with what we would normally see, but we're just so sensitized to it because of what we went through with it like 3 or 4 months ago.
I want to get to the hospital and heart surgeries and all that. I know that there was a report out yesterday on WKTV about this, and I want to get your opinion on that and your assessment of really what has gone on at WIN. But before we get there, I do have a few people with some questions. Somebody asking about Sudafed. So Sudafed, says this person, it causes them not to be able to urinate as freely. And they're asking if that would mean that is a bad medicine for them to take when they have a cold or symptoms or whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so the very quick answer to that is yes. If you're having those kinds of symptoms, and that is a known side effect of that medication for certain people. So if you are having those kinds of symptoms, then I would recommend staying away from it, because, not being able to completely empty your bladder can lead to increased urinary tract infections and other problems. So I would definitely say, that's a medication that particular person should probably avoid.
And I am paraphrasing because this is a conversation that we had when you talked to Dr. Hall on Tuesday. What would it do damage to the kidneys?
So, in an extreme case, yes. In most cases, probably not, because we're not talking about, actually not being able to urinate for an extended period of time. It's really just a matter of, potentially just taking longer. But it also could mean that you're not completely emptying your bladder because of that. And if that's the case, then that, like I said, can definitely lead to urinary tract infections and things like that.
So when I had a surgery about 7 years ago, one of the medicines they had given me was Celebrex, and it completely shut down. By day 3 in the hospital, I was hallucinating, and it was poisoning my system. So it's interesting how some of these drugs have a reaction with some people. Other people can take Celebrex; they'd have no issue for pain relief and that sort of thing. But what I was told at that time is another day, and it was a doctor that you'll know of, who was my anesthesiologist, and a lot of people love Dr. Sarabu. I certainly do, because if it wasn't for Dr. Sarabu, I probably would be living, hoping for a kidney transplant, living on dialysis today.
Wow.
Yeah. So Dr. Sarabu, first of all, he's an excellent physician, and it's good that he was taking care of you. The other thing is that Celebrex and that class of medications, so the nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory medications, which includes ibuprofen, it includes naproxen, so the over-the-counter things that we think about. One of the known side effects for them is that it does cause, or has the potential to cause, kidney damage. And some people are more prone to it are more sensitive to it than others. Obviously, you seem to be one of the people that's more sensitive to it. So you should be aware that it's not just Celebrex per se, although because there are differences in the different subclasses of the nonsteroidals, some may have that effect on some, like Celebrex for you may have more of an effect on your kidneys than, say, ibuprofen.
Yeah.
That being said, you need to be very careful about it.
I will say it's a great conversation starter. Every time I see a new doctor, it goes like this. Oh, you're allergic to Celebrex. That's interesting. I've never heard of anybody allergic to Celebrex before. And it creates a rather interesting conversation. The fact is, if you believe in a higher being, someone in maybe stepping in, and I feel the higher being was Dr. Sarabu in this case, but he was simply just walking the hallway and was doing acupuncture on my wife, saw her, and by chance looked at my chart and said, "What is going on?" As my wife explained to him, his kidneys aren't working, he's hallucinating, and he said immediately, "Get him off this medicine." And they flushed me out and really saved my kidneys. So it was a by chance that he was just walking through the hallway that night.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
Again,
an excellent and just an excellent doc. So.
Yeah, really good guy. And one more question.
One more question for you, Dr. Hall. With the allergy season coming, I was buying allergy medicine at the local pharmacy the other day, and I saw that the prices are out of this world. Do you happen to know why Claritin is now costing $50 a pop?
Oh my gosh, no, I don't. Although, I can surmise that there's some gouging going on, but there is no reason that I know of that the cost of manufacturing or distribution has gone up that much. So
good to know. So that makes me feel better, because I thought I was going crazy with just how much it was being listed for. So generics are literally my go-to now.
That's why I try to steal as much of that medicine as I can.
Bill, got to teach me your ways.
Yeah. Okay. And by the way, you go to any major. Somebody sent me a picture. It was Hauk that sent me a picture in California where all of the drugstores and the pharmacies and those places that sell shaving cream and razor blades and even shampoo. Everything in the store is locked up. You have to hit a button.
Wow.
They come out and unlock it and give you the piece and then basically make sure you're not going to steal it. All right. I wanted to ask you about what your assessment is. Obviously, I think we've talked about this before, the fact that this went public for Wynn Hospital on the heart surgeries, and they suspended a certain portion of those surgeries. And then an analysis has been done and an audit of all of that, and that information is now back. I just want your take on all of it, and it seems like they are resuming, and the plan is to be one of the best in the state when they're all done.
Yeah, so going back to the beginning of it, absolutely the right thing was done, and I think that people should actually applaud this in that, instead of, trying to sweep something under the rug or whatever, they said, what, this is wrong for our patients. We need to understand exactly what's going on and we need to improve it. And so that is why things were shut down in the first place. I think that, again, I can't applaud that move enough. And then, taking the due diligence. Now it's been, it's coming up on almost a year, I think.
Yeah.
Since
I believe it's a little over a year. Yep.
Yeah, and this is good because they have really done an evaluation of what is it that that this community needs from a invasive heart surgery standpoint, and what is it that we believe that we can provide in a high quality, safe manner. And then it's a matter of putting those pieces in place. It does mean obviously recruiting more cardiac surgeons, which is an ongoing process and is not an easy thing to do anyway. But the goal of having the best cardiac program and cardiac surgery program in Central New York and in New York State, I think that that's a laudable goal. It's also going to be a path to walk. It's not like you can flip a switch and it's done today or tomorrow. But I think that they've done just the right thing. I really applaud the leadership of the hospital and the health system. I applaud the quality folks who really brought this forward. I applaud the bedside nurses and stuff who said we have some concerns and actually brought their concerns forward. I mean, this is exactly what you want to have done, especially in what the health system espouses to be, which is a high reliability system. So,
right.
but it's going to take some. There's going to be a ramp up time, and so it's not like it's going to be fantastic right out of the starting gate. But I do believe that it's not going to put patients at risk, which is the most important thing.
Doc, we appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great rest of the week.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great April Fool's Day, and please be safe.
Thank you.
Do the same. Dr. Kent Hall. Coming up, we'll do Hobica's free money question of the day this morning. It is worth $200, Davey. $200. Megan has an update on the news coming up as well. Start the new year debt-free and stress-free with GPO Federal Credit Union. Simplify your finances with balanced transfer rates as low as 3.99% APR for 12 months, or consolidate high-interest debt into one manageable payment with personal loans. But it doesn't end there. GPO has partnered with Balance, a program to provide you with free virtual or in-person sessions with financial advisors. Together, you'll all create a personalized plan to help you take care of your control of your finances and achieve your goals. Why wait? Let GPO help you start fresh in 2025. Visit gpofcu.com or stop by any branch today. Debt-free, stress-free, and you begin your journey with GPO. subject to credit approval. Membership eligibility required. Rates and terms based on credit worthiness. Balance transfer rates revert back to normal card rate after the 12th month. Contact GPO for more information. And the official coffee of this radio program is Daylight Donuts, Seattle's best coffee, the official coffee of here. The coffee is incredibly good. Try iced coffee and their amazing cold brew coffee, all very delicious as things begin to warm up, although not today. Everything is made fresh every morning, including the donuts and the croissants, which are melt in your mouth. And now they introduce a new breakfast sandwich. It's the egg white frittata, made with egg white, spinach, tomato, and feta cheese. You can have it on a bagel, English muffin, or go all in with it on a croissant, which is so good. Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford. Megan with news coming right up.
Mattress Express's closeout sale on brand new leftover inventory and floor models. Right now, buy a king or queen and get a free adjustable base. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans available as well.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:34. I'm Megan Stone. It's 32 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. Today is April Fool's Day, so be careful what you read because you could fall for a joke. While there may be no clear official origin, references to the 1st of April as the day of trickery date all the way back to the 14th century. The first recorded April Fool's Day was in France in 1582. So it's believed that April 1st was originally celebrated as New Year's Day before the Gregorian calendar, then made New Year's Day January 1st. So those who didn't get the word about that date change were called fools, and people played tricks on them. The New York State budget is due today, and it is unlikely to meet the deadline. Democrats can't agree on pretrial discovery, and that's what's stalling budget talks. Governor Kathy Hochul is proposing changes to the laws that set stricter standards and rules about when and how evidence in criminal cases should be shared. Lawmakers were off Monday for the Muslim holiday of Eid and will likely pass a bill extending state spending for a few days. If they don't, they, along with other state workers, won't get paid. Governor Hochul's office has released a statement saying she continues to stand firm on her key priorities to pass a budget that makes New York safer and more affordable. Will Smith is teasing his return in a new Men in Black movie. The actor who played Agent since the original 1997 movie teased his return during an appearance on Jilly Da Kid and Wallow's $1 Million Worth of Game podcast. Smith initially said he was trying to move on from starring in a movie sequels, but revealed he recently received an offer to star in another Men in Black movie. He hinted that he'd start filming his scenes after his tour, which runs from June 25th to September 2nd. And forecasters have some bad news for those with seasonal allergies. Pollen counts will be higher than usual across much of the U.S. this year. Most meteorologists are expecting to see pollen counts blowing away historical averages in over 36 states as warmer weather approaches. The experts say those who suffer from allergies should prepare for an intense allergy season that could linger into autumn. They say allergy seasons across the country are lasting 1 to 4 weeks longer than they did 50 years ago because of changing climate conditions. Your WIBX news time is 7:36. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Colder air now settling in. Didn't see any reports of severe weather yesterday, and that's a good thing. Clouds around give way to clear sky this morning. Mostly sunny out, or just above 40 this afternoon. And the gusty breeze will make it feel colder. Cold night tonight, low 20s. Teens into the Adirondacks. Chance of showers tomorrow late, mid-40s. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm, and 70 degrees by Thursday. I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now it is 32 in Marcy and cloudy. I'm Megan Stone.
And going to be cooler today, right? Dealing with, don't you just love having a cold when you're on the radio?
No, I love it when
Greatest.
something off the microphone hits the back of your throat.
Oh, yeah, that'll really get you. Davey, we're going to do Hobica's free money question of the day. Then Mayor Galimi's coming in studio. You're looking for caller number
4.
4. All right. It's worth $200. Caller 4 right now. 315-736-0186 right now from WIBX.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or Avastin-capted Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning. Good morning. It's 7:40. Coming up, we'll speak with Mayor Mike Galimi. And on the phone line right now, ready for Hobica's free money question of the day. Who's on the line, Davey? Who is it? My screen just went blank.
Sergio
and Ilion, is that right? All right, Sergio, good morning.
That's right.
Good morning.
Howdy doody. How you doing?
Good. Are you ready to take a shot here?
Let's give it a go.
It's $200, $200 on the line, $200. And it is your opportunity to win from Hobica. The Hobica Law Firm for your legal needs, 315-724-1600 is the number. And Here we go. This is your question. This standard-sized blank has 35,000 dots on it. What are we talking about? Ready, go.
35,000 dots.
35,000 dots.
I'm going to say a mile.
What did you say?
A mile.
A mile. The answer is, anybody on this is a difficult question because of the way it's asked. The mayor, this standard blank has 35,000 dots on it. It is. I got it. You're correct.
Polka dot dress or something
weird. The polka dot dress would be a really cool.
I was going to make a joke about me after acupuncture.
Let me ask you this in a different way. It would make it really easy. A standard size basketball has how many dots?
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And I'm assuming that's got to be for the grip, right?
Yes.
You call it dots? I thought they called them dimples.
Dimples. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
this dimple, I might have said, well, golf balls don't have anywhere near that.
That would have been right. Dimples would be in, wouldn't it?
Going inward. Yeah, that's right.
Dots are outward. Yeah. All right. Well, that question blew.
Basketball has 35,000 pimples. How about we call it that?
You can do that.
Is that what you just Googled?
Yeah.
That just sounds too. Who'd want to touch that? Who'd
That's
dribble that?
exactly right. Who would want to touch it? Okay. Stand by. Davey's going to hook you up. We'll give you the all-in-one food and fun card. Good answer, by the way, Sergio. Who would want to touch that? Davey will hook you up. It's the food and fun card, which still remains the greatest gift card out there because you can go to like 10 different places with it. And that includes Aquavino, Babes, Taylor and the Cook, the Odd, Nexus, and the list goes on. Stand by, okay?
Okay, very good. Thank you.
All right, Sergio, thank you. I think we'll just stick with dots.
That was a solid question, though.
It was a good, for $200, I think that's a fair question.
Yeah.
All right, Mayor Galimi, you had Democrats and Republicans line up against you and did an override on how many? 20 some odd?
Something like that.
Vetoes.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that?
Well, the first thing is I would say that I did approve a bunch. So we did work together on quite a few. So
I guess I'll ask you two questions. How do you respond to that? And do you feel to avoid a higher tax increase, they just set up the city to be in a difficult place?
So the answer is yes to that question. But the way I was going to lead off is when I ran for mayor, I took the job of running the city regardless of what society, the council, or any problems that arise are thrown at me, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to move forward and continue with business development plans, continue with what we started last year and how we were, cleaning up all the different unhoused encampments, et cetera. We're going to make sure we keep the city moving in the right direction.
Those encampments, by the way, this is the springtime when a pile of snow looks like a pile of dirt. When the side of the road and even the roads are all covered in salt and sand and
absolutely,
and
it's spring cleanup.
There's no greenery out there to
cover
it
melts,
up.
The garbage melts out of the snowbanks.
Correct.
Everything. So we're out there already.
And where I'm parlaying here a little bit is these encampments are just pigsties. I mean, garbage thrown all over the place.
Oh no, it's absolutely insane.
It's bad.
Yeah. So regarding the budget, though, what you said is accurate. If you look at the amendments that were passed,
it's gonna hurt.
Absolutely, because we still have that fund balance appropriation, which means we are using cash accounts to pay for the operational expenses, to pay payroll, to do those things. So when you look at the amendments, it's not like we cut something. Even in their own words on the floor at the council, they're like, well, we'll just transfer the money from somewhere. Or we could cut this because we got to spend the money anyways. Well, that's that old school Utica politics way of keeping the taxes down by underfunding accounts that you know you have to spend money on, which is the definition of kicking the can.
Yeah.
So if you look at the amendments that passed, it's a combination of increasing fund balance draw, which one of them I worked with them on. I signed the additional funds they wanted to take out of the CIT. That's the Capital Improvement Trust, because we can work with the Controller's Office to build that account back up. I did not sign the one that would increase the actual fund balance draw because we were already appropriating over $2 million, right? But the way the budget came down, except for the 1%, which was the 4 officers that ended up we didn't need after people retired throughout the budget process, they increased the fund balance draw, and the council essentially worked to defund things that were like hard costs, like how much money we need to pay for streetlights, how much money we need to pay for computer subscriptions for code software, or they did things in DPW, for example, where they took money from the seasonal employment, but then also took from the overtime, which we work with the DPW commissioner and the parks commissioner every year to kind of balance that depending on how bad spring is, how bad winter is. And if you have a lot of seasonal employment versus winter, you're going to transfer between that to rebalance that. They took from both. The ones that most concern me are infrastructure lines, engineering department, sewer work, the ability to actually repair lighting infrastructure, electrical infrastructure that are hard costs again. That's what we took from.
One of the ones they did publicly talk about was the raises. Would you agree that delaying the raises is not a bad idea?
No, it was a terrible idea what they proposed. They wanted to save $15,000 to die on some sort of public good when the budget had a $4 million hole in it. So they had the public concerned with that, the media concerned with that. The whole council was concerned over, what, $8,000?
Yeah.
When we have a $4 million problem.
Fair enough. All right.
Okay.
I have Wayne and by the way, everybody be a little quiet because Wayne is fishing this morning. So you don't want to scare the trout. Hello, Wayne.
I got 3 massive bites and I have gotten nothing since then, and I'm freezing.
Yeah, it's cold.
It's cold. It was
snowing on and off.
Yeah, I know. It's your. I hate to say, but this is not an abnormal April 1st. I don't think. I mean, you would know, Wayne. You're out there every year.
Usually, I can't get to the spot, and there's usually snow still here.
Yeah.
So I was able to get to the spot, and the water's calm and clear. So
there's no place you'd rather be.
Okay. What do you have for the mayor?
All right. I wanted to ask. Over by Shinatry's, I think the old place was called the Bendix property there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, they're doing something over there now in Murnane Field. What are you guys doing at both of them places?
So Murnane Field's the county, and they're putting in turf, which is good. That's really good. Yeah, that's good because now that's going to reestablish that as the baseball facility. So we're not moving that. That's going to be great. The Bendix plant, the old Bendix plant.
Hold on, what was this question? Go ahead.
Will the Murnane Field be ready for baseball this year?
Yes.
Oh, good.
And if I can just say, Wayne, I'm sure you remember back when Kahn was here writing the baseball book, and the Bill Murray, the Murray family was here, and Morgana, the Kissing Bandit, all of those years of great baseball in Utica. Mm-hmm. It was the worst field in all of baseball. It was just a horrific mess. That place, Murnane, has become something special, and adding turf to that is great.
Turf's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. What's your next
Bendix.
one? Bendix.
Okay, I think he's just because I remembered his question.
Bendix,
all right, so Bendix is it's owned by Northrop Grumman, I believe, still, and they are still monitoring that. It's ready for its zoned industrial use and cleaned to that point where it could be capped and utilized for something like that. At this point, when we reached out to them last year, they are thinking about cleaning it further so they could potentially do retail there. But that's not owned by the city. That is actually still owned by what is now, I believe, Northrop Grumman, because it was Lucas at one point. It was Bendix. It went through multiple different ownerships.
Okay.
They got a backhoe right in the middle of that over there. That's why I was asking. And good job so far, Mayor. We love you.
Thank you, and hope to catch something.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
All right. You
Hoping
do the
he gets
same.
a 17-inch trout.
315-736-0186. What do you say to your Republican colleagues who lined up with Democrats against you here?
Well, so I'm looking at it like it was a minority and a majority. And I was council president for a very long time, and I've been coming on this show for a long time where you see that minority and that majority crossover, work together, fight, be split. And they came together around the fact that they wanted to bring the quote tax rate, the tax increase down to that 3% is what they effectively went to, but they originally said 2%, and again they couldn't get there, and then they blindly committed to 3%.
Yeah,
and I'm not talking to Republicans or Democrats. I'm talking to the whole council. Then they blindly committed to 3%, and by blindly committing to 3%, when we're looking at things like an additional $1.1 million because we have to fund the 8 Safer grant firefighters next year, when we're looking at hard costs on court-mandated ADA compliance work that we have to do, this wasn't the time to, not think about the future finances of the city. The reality is the difference in the tax increase wasn't that much in how much they were able to reduce it. Yeah. Especially because what they did in their own words when they passed these, and they changed all their explanations to reduce the tax increase. If you looked at the original explanations, a lot of them said, all these long explanations of why this could be reduced. They had to remove those because they went through Munis, the accounting software, found out that wasn't real. And then on the floor, the discussion was, well, we'll cut this to keep the tax rate down because we have to spend the money anyways. Everyone in the public needs to understand that this council said out loud, we can reduce the tax increase because we'll just spend the money anyways. So if you think about that in the most simple way possible.
That's just basically putting. I think I was watching.
But I don't want to spend the money anyways.
Alec Baldwin said, "I put everything in a box and put it in a closet. Then I don't think about it."
Right. So
that's kind of what we're talking about here.
So in all seriousness, I was having a conversation with one of the council people. They're like, "Well, just transfer the money from somewhere." I'm like, "There is no money. We're appropriating $4 million in cash. We got to stop that, right?" So they're like, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I'm like, "I'm not saying we'll do this, but maybe we could be like Whitesboro and New Hartford and not have streetlights from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Because that would literally save us almost $500,000 for the year, right?
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, we can't do that." And I'm like, "Well, we need to. This is what we were thinking about prior.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want to think about what we have to go without, if you defund lines, okay, look at the law offices. That was a big controversy over the quote raises as well, which those were competitive just to keep people. And we did unfortunately already lose someone that really not just saves the money of the city, but defends our police department. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to have some ripples through that they didn't think were going to happen.
Yeah.
And we are. And what'd they do? They didn't just cut the salaries. That would have been okay, but they also cut the contracted services. So it's like a scale. You either pay people to work for you or you pay people that work for someone else to do the work.
Right.
They cut both. They literally created a situation where we don't have the money to defend the city. Okay.
And you do, by the way,
when you really think about those things, and I wrote all this in the veto amendments that they didn't want to read, and they didn't read.
You do, by the way, have the case where was a kid 13 years old?
Yeah.
And, we can go back and forth on what anybody thinks what the right thing was. I mean, the kid supposedly had a gun.
Yeah, I'm away.
But at the end of the day, that's going to take litigation.
So I'll take one that's much less controversial.
Okay.
2 weeks ago, one of our quote salaried part-time corporation counsel that they were going after and talking about this horrible salaries of. We had a truck drive off Valley View. That was one case. Another case was an injury claim in like a field type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we knew that we weren't liable for those things. But everyone knows in a court of law, if you don't have the proper defense, you could be 100% right, and you're going to lose.
This is the problem with a
we were on the hook for $1 million for one, $400,000 for another, and because we went to court with the correct defense with an experienced lawyer, we won, and the city did not have to pay out $1.4 million. If we went with somebody green and did not understand how to defend, we would lose.
Right.
That's potentially what we're in line for now.
So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation almost.
It is.
Well, it's law of probabilities.
Okay. You got to do you got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely. But here's the thing:
point.
April 1st is today, right?
It is today.
All right, April Fools. We got to we got to come up with something later. But
I'll try not
today
to send
is the
a letter
first
out.
Day of the new budget
I'll try not
year.
to send a letter out that you've resigned.
Right. No, but so here's the deal. Today's the first year of the budget season, and like I said, the way I led this interview off was I'm going to lead this city in the right direction, regardless of what's thrown at me. Maybe what this means with what the council did with a lot of different overtime lines is we're still going to get the work done, but we're going to have to serialize it more. We won't be able to work in parallel as much. Maybe, when I would find that unhoused encampment and we would have county services go out and work with the people and we would clean it up in 7 days, maybe it's going to take 14 days. We're going to still do the things that we need to do to make sure the city is taken care of.
Yeah.
But we're going to have to work with what we have, because what I do refuse to do is continue the overspending and the underfunding. That's what I was handed. Okay, the last 2 years of the previous administration and the last councils working with that previous administration, it wasn't just the mayor.
Yeah.
Okay, those years were deficits, but also overspent. The final year was a deficit, $2.5 million overspent, and they took out an additional in December $2 million bond to cover more expenses that they didn't account for.
How did we keep hearing about
it's
a
crazy
surplus under Paul Mary?
So they had a lot of surpluses, genuinely. Okay, but they were selling a lot of property and just putting it in a surplus.
Plus you had COVID money.
The COVID money wasn't necessarily, no, because the COVID money was not when there was surpluses. Absolutely not. The bulk of the COVID money getting spent was when the actual functional parts of the city, the wheels fell off of, and they were only concerned with COVID money.
Right.
That's when we started throwing deficits out there because we didn't care what we were doing, right? A lot of those fund balances came from property sales. You also, if you look at the budgets where you had surpluses in the fund balance, we would budget appropriately, okay? But then we would also budget for fund balance use, like a CIT draw in some of those years. We would use the CIT money out of a bank account, but then post a surplus. So we were kind of moving things around to create those too.
Final thoughts.
Listen, it's spring. We got a lot going on. We're building a business development pipeline out of the Urban and Economic Development Office, so that's huge. We've reenacted a lot of the work the IDA is doing. School season's wrapping up. The sports are spooling up. We're getting all the sports fields ready for youth sports and
what a
municipal
Sunday
sports.
night! What a Sunday night!
Sunday was phenomenal. If anyone was at the hockey game, unbelievable.
And there's a tournament coming to town right now.
Oh yeah, unbelievable tournament. You'll see over 4,500 people here. But listen, Utica, New York is the place to be, and I'm going to make sure we keep it that way.
All right. Mayor Galimi, thank you.
All right. Have a great morning.
Good luck out there. We're going to break. Coming up next hour, I got a bunch to get to. And there's that congressional race, that special election that's happening in Florida. Our man, your man, Greeley Ford is down there in one of those districts, and we'll have a chance to speak with Greeley coming up in a few minutes. Also, the next wave of AI is here. Autonomous AI agents are out there, amazing, and I think we should be a little nervous. At least I am. We'll speak with a cybersecurity expert on all of that. First, though, we'll do the news. It's next on WIBX.
Coming Saturday, April 5th.
The Rome Capitol Theater presenting the Paragon Ragtime Orchestra in a pageant of American music, featuring theater organist David Peckham. The Paragon Ragtime Orchestra is the world's only year-round professional ensemble, recreating America's original music, the syncopated sounds of our country's popular music from the 1890s through the 1920s. Saturday, April 5th at 7 p.m. Tickets and information at romecapital.com.
Tickets on sale now.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome,
W295EI,
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Voters are going to the polls starting now in Wisconsin. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. In a very expensive election that'll determine if the state Supreme Court will remain left-leaning or if the balance will shift 4-3 to the right with one seat up for grabs.
Over $100 million is expected to be spent on Wisconsin's Supreme Court race between conservative Judge Brad Schimmel.
On the state Supreme Court, I'll apply the law equally because everyone has the right to feel safe.
And liberal Judge Susan Crawford.
Being a judge is really pretty simple. There's right and there's wrong, and I'll always do the right thing.
The majority of campaign donations have come from outstate billionaires like Elon Musk and George Soros.
That's Fox's Jeff Manasso. There are two special elections in Florida to fill two seats that have been held by Republicans. Ex-Congressman Matt Gaetz and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. If the GOP candidates win, it'll give Republicans a slightly bigger House majority. In the Senate, Democrat Cory Booker spent all night talking, railing against the Trump agenda.
Placing tariffs on our biggest trade partners is beyond unfair. This drives the cost of goods up, and the consumer is the one who ends up paying the increase.
President Trump's readying a lot more tariffs tomorrow.
He's calling it Liberation Day. President Trump says he has settled on a tariff plan being imposed Wednesday.
It's going to be something that's going to bring a lot of wealth back to our country, tremendous wealth back to our country, actually.
The president is promising reciprocal tariffs, charging the same duty on imports from countries that tariff American exports.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. And Wall Street stock futures are falling after a big sell-off in March on some tariff worries. Israel's gone on the attack again in Lebanon, killing at least 4 people.
The Israeli military says it was targeting a member of the Hezbollah militant group. It adds that what it calls a Hezbollah terrorist posed an imminent threat and had to be taken out. We're told the target had been helping Hamas plan a significant attack against Israeli civilians.
That's Jonathan Savage. America's listening to Fox News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
While voters in Wisconsin decide if they want a conservative or liberal for the state Supreme Court, House Republicans will hold a hearing this morning into what they claim is judicial activism. Federal judges ruling in favor of legal challenges to President Trump's agenda. Congressman Lance Gooden is on the Judiciary Committee and tells Fox
these nationwide injunctions have really gone out of control.
Republicans are considering legislation that would prevent U.S. district judges from issuing injunctions that would affect the whole country. There's also a House hearing today into the newly declassified JFK files. Thousands of documents released, made public after being more than 60 years sealed.
Think the unthinkable. Question everything.
This was the trailer for the 1991 film JFK, which was based on the investigation into the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Decades after its release, director Oliver Stone will be one of the witnesses at a House congressional hearing taking a look at the release of the JFK files. The Trump administration has pushed for more transparency when it comes to classified documents, including ones surrounding the assassination of Robert Kennedy Jr. and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Another change is coming into the military under new Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
It's been a pet peeve for the Pentagon chief since well before being confirmed as Defense Secretary that fitness standards were lowered for women so more females would qualify for combat roles. Now, in a new memo, Hegseth says jobs known as combat arms, like special ops or infantry, will require heightened entry-level and sustained physical fitness, regardless of gender. There are already a number of combat-ready jobs that have higher fitness standards, such as the Navy SEALs or Army Rangers and Green Berets. Tom Rigotti, Fox News.
It's down to the Final Four of the women's college basketball tournament. Texas and Connecticut won last night to join South Carolina and UCLA. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. I'm Megan Stone. It's 32 degrees and cloudy outside. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. A 13 and 15-year-old juvenile were arrested following a crime spree in Lewis County. The Lewis County Sheriff's Office and New York State Police accused the teens of committing a rash of burglaries where they stole 2 handguns from unlocked cars in Port Leyden and Lyons Falls between March 19th and the 21st. The teens face numerous charges, including 3 counts of felony-level grand larceny, 2 counts of felony-level burglary and felony-level criminal possession of stolen property. The teens are also accused of stealing from storage units at Shoebox Storage and rolled over a stolen vehicle they took out of Port Leiden. Both teens were arrested and they were issued appearance tickets returnable to family court and released to their guardians. Oneida City Police Chief Stephen Lowell is warning residents of a Facebook scam that is meant to spark alarm. The fraudulent post, they say, is making the rounds and claiming an Oneida City police officer has gone missing. The scam claims Officer Katie Cunningham went missing after her car was located with her daughter inside, but Chief Lowell says there's no such officer with that name on his team. Authorities say similar posts have been circulating on Facebook, targeting numerous communities across the United States, so this post is a hoax. Chief Lowell said, and that it is designed to be part of a wider scam that's intended to go viral. So if you see this post, report it as spam. A demolition order has been issued for the former mother house of the Sisters of St. Francis in Syracuse. Earlier this month, that building was severely damaged by a blaze that took crews more than 24 hours to put out. A review of drone footage showed the 129-year-old structure was a safety hazard and must be knocked down as soon as possible. Demolition costs will be covered by the building's owner. And while the spread of the flu has slowed down in the area, that's not the case when it comes to norovirus. Doctors say they've received a lot of calls lately from patients who are showing signs of the illness, such as stomach cramps, nausea, and vomiting. The virus is considered to be highly contagious, and people can protect themselves by making sure their hands and any surfaces inside their homes are clean and disinfected. Because there are different strains, it's possible to get norovirus more than once. Your WIBX news time is 8:07. Here is your full weather forecast.
Colder air now settling in. Didn't see any reports of severe weather yesterday, and that's a good thing. Clouds around give way to clear sky this morning. Mostly sunny out, or just above 40. This afternoon, the gusty breeze will make it feel colder. Cold night tonight, low 20s. Teens into the Adirondacks. Chance of showers tomorrow late, mid-40s. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm, and 70 degrees by Thursday. I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
32 degrees and cloudy skies. It's outside in downtown Marcy. In sports, the Giants do not appear desperate to select a quarterback in the upcoming draft and will not force a pick on a QB either. The G-men currently have the 3rd overall pick. New York signed veteran free agent Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. The latter will get the first crack at starting reps in the spring. Woody Johnson is not buying into the NFL Players Association annual team report cards. The Jets' owner will the only in the league to receive an F grade, called the survey totally bogus at the annual owners meeting on Monday. Johnson said he values his relationships with players and their opinions, but questioned the integrity of the poll. The Green and White were ranked 29th in the league based on grades in 11 categories. The Mets opened their series against the Miami Marlins with a 10-4 victory at Lone Depot Park. Pete Alonso led the way after going 2 for 4 with a walk and a grand slam. The Mets have won 2 of their last 3 games and sit 1 game back on lead in the NL East. New York continues the 3-game set tonight. I'm Megan Stone.
Okay, gotta love the you can head right out. I'll cover here for you. All right, Davey, is that Lucia's been waiting for a while? I'm going to let her do sports. Lucia, you're doing sports. Megan's not feeling well. Ready? Go.
Oh, hi. So the Yankees won the game last night.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
And the Mets,
the Mets won.
are playing with them next week. And you, Bill, you were nasty. You didn't take me. You've been waiting a long time. And tell the mayor you could do better there. Tell him just do it. And the person that I was waiting for was you yesterday. The day before you never called.
Right.
But, today it's all about April Fool,
it is. It is. Lucia's got me there. Bada boom. Yes, I do apologize for not reaching out to you yesterday, but
listen, it's April Fool.
It
That's what I'm saying.
It is. I get it.
So it's all about that. Call when you want to. No problem.
All right, Lucia, that's a good one. And happy April Fool's Day to you as well.
Yeah.
All right.
No, you can't do that to me. You didn't
Yes.
call me and prank me, you know.
Maybe I haven't. Maybe I will still today. You never know.
Watch out now, okay?
Beware.
And if you need a ride, I have an Audi. I'll pick you up.
All right, beautiful.
And I'll take you to lunch. You and Megan, you want to go?
Not with her feeling this way today. It's a wonder I'm in the
She
studio.
doesn't?
She does
So
not
you
feel
pick
well.
somebody
Yeah.
else.
All right.
Pick somebody else. So you want to pick.
One of these days we'll do it.
This
All right.
Senator Griff, okay?
That would be perfect. He would love it. Although I think he's stuck in
Tell him,
Albany.
tell him to be on the move and tell him it's April Fool today.
All right. I'll let you handle that, and we'll talk soon, Lucia. Thank you. And have a wonderful day pranking people.
Thank you.
Okay. My mom, as I had said, has always been one of the great prankers when it comes to April Fool's Day, which is probably where I learned it from. But one of the favorite was she had decided to give my kids a sandwich with I think it was wax paper on the sandwich. Maybe it was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or an egg sandwich. And what do you think happens to my kid? Begins having a gag reflux and starts. You know what happened? It was a messy April Fool's Day, Davey. Got a break. Hold on. And of course, there was that, and I'll post on this again, the retirement prank of Mayor Hanna was a good one. Love that. Got a break. Coming up, we'll speak with Greeley Ford down in Florida on WIBX.
This April, step into a world of luxury, elegance, and dazzling beauty.
Be dazzled.
Join us and be dazzled. An unforgettable evening of glistening jewels, sparkling cocktails, and spectacular entertainment. April 12th at Vernon Downs Casino Hotel. Immerse yourself in a breathtaking atmosphere.
Be dazzled.
Inspired by Diamonds and Ice, experience a night like no other. Enjoy world-class cuisine, live performances, and a chance to dance the night away where the magic sparkles like diamonds and the night glistens with icy elegance. This is the Gala of the Year. Tickets are limited, so get yours now.
Be dazzled.
Where every moment sparkles like diamonds and ice. April 12th at Vernon Downs Casino Hotel. Visit neighborhoodctr.org for tickets. Brought to you by the Flemmer Group at Baird, Murphy Excavating, and C&D Advertising.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Before there was social media, streaming, and even color television, there was radio. Remember the golden days when you had to tune in to hear what happened to Hopalong Cassidy, or perhaps the Green Hornet? What if you could relive those days again? Hi, I'm Greg Bell, the host of When Radio Was, a show that's dedicated to the very best of radio's golden age. From classic performances by Jack Benny to tales of terror on Lights Out. It's all here on When Radio Was, starting every Sunday at 11 p.m., only on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Which classic broadcast will you hear next?
Hey, everybody in upstate New York. I don't know where in upstate New York, but thanks for listening to the Keeler Show. Never met this man. Don't know why I'm telling everybody to listen, but thank you very much. By the way, this is Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm. I have nothing else really to say to you, but I thank you for listening to me, tell you to listen to this man, Bill Keeler, on WIBX.
This is Keeler in the Morning, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Hey, portions of today's program brought to you by The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. Accepting new patients, the Falcon Clinic is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. And they're accepting new patients now. If you're in need of a new family doctor or you're just having issues with something with your health, you can reach out. They're incredibly thorough and do a tremendous job. I do an adjustment there. It's osteopathic. It's about a 35 to 40 minute adjustment, and it just works tremendously on my lower back. If you're looking for a new family doctor, they have you covered. If you need acupuncture, they rave about the acupuncture at the Falcon Clinic. Call them today and schedule an appointment. A referral is not needed. Call 315-507-4751, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. Today, it's going to be interesting to see the results of 3 different special elections that are happening around the country today. Wisconsin has 1 and Florida has 2. In one of those districts, a man who may have already voted, our man Greeley Ford, who's on the line now. Greeley, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you today?
Well, we're all probably not as good as, what are you looking at, like 70 today, 80 today, and sunny?
I think it's supposed to creep its way up to about 82 today.
Yeah,
terrible.
33 and cloudy where we are.
Yeah, we may hit 60 something, maybe even close to 70 on Thursday with rain, but then we're right back down into the 30s and 40s.
Yeah, that's roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first year winter that we were down here, which was not this one, the last one, it was so nice up there. We thought maybe we had pulled the trigger too soon.
Yeah.
But this winter, you guys have been punished so severely.
Yeah, it's been awful.
I couldn't even send jokes to anybody. It's not even funny.
Yeah, it's not. It's not funny, but I do have to say we got lucky in today being the first day of April. We can now say it. We got lucky in March. All the snow went away in March, and I guess maybe in the North Country there may still be some, but for the most part, we got almost no snow in March. We had kind of a warmer March, which is pretty good, because you know how this can linger on. It could go into April. So, yeah.
Well, if you can get through March, without unscathed, and hopefully April doesn't come around and hit you in the face with a bat. Hopefully you'll be okay. That'd be wonderful.
How are you feeling down there in terms of the elections, special election today? You're in one of those districts.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm parked right outside the polling place here in Ormond Beach, and there's Josh Wheel tents up. There's a fine tents seem to be gone. They were here the other day. There were one or two of them the other day, but they're gone. But Josh, it's pronounced not Wheel. No, it's pronounced Josh Wheel, not Weil. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But he's doing pretty well. There has been a significant increase in like ad buys on the electronic billboards along 95 and so forth. And the DNC chair has been down here campaigning for him, and both up in Congressional District 1, where Matt Waltz's old seat. So, but this is Mike Waltz's what I call hot seat right now.
Yeah.
So he's on the outs with the Trump administration, and no, I don't know. I really don't think he's long for the world. So this seat that was his may be really a loss for the Republicans. They aren't fundraising quite as much here. And so Bernie Sanders has endorsed Josh Wheel as an outsider, which is kind of rich considering he's been there for 35 years.
I got to tell you what I find interesting though about Bernie Sanders is it's easy to criticize. His policies are far left, but I think that he has this oddly, I don't want to call it odd. It's odd for me when I look at it because I don't understand it.
Haircut?
Well, he definitely has that, but he has a huge following that just blows my mind. Yet Democrats completely discount him.
I don't get it either. I mean, he was a front runner in 2016 for the nomination and kind of got pushed aside. And I think, I'm not sure in 2020 either, but he really has not been treated so well by a party that he swears such allegiance to. But, maybe that's okay. He still, gets a lot of press and a lot of publicity. I'm not sure what legislation he's ever had enacted that really meant anything. I just don't know. I was trying to look it up earlier, but I haven't found anything that popped out.
Greeley, I would ask you if you feel, because I believe the Democrats are outspending Republicans on these races right now, but you feel that maybe one of these seats may be in jeopardy for Republicans.
One or possibly both. I haven't heard much about Matt Walsh's, Matt Gates' seat here, but the Wheel has outraised fine down here 10-1 as of the last Federal Election Commission filing deadline of March 12th. And the DNC has invested in the rollout of voter protection program here in this district and in the first district as well.
Yeah.
I don't have the exact dollar amounts of all of that, but they realize that this is very important, and it's game time here. This is going to change things, and if they manage to flip the House or manage to at least get the
make it even closer,
even closer, then that really greatly endangers everything that the Trump administration is trying to do, and I do mean everything.
Yeah.
So, game on down here. Hats off to them. A spirited election is what America needs.
Well, and
parties that
would you agree that we're great at we want a balanced budget as Americans.
Yes,
we want cuts. We don't want waste. We want cut here, cut there. But oh, wait a minute, do not cut anything I'm involved with. And there you go. That is it's the old landfill, right? To the Ava landfill. It's like, we don't want it here. You can put it there. I don't care if you put it there, but don't put it in my backyard. And I think that
yes, as long as it affects other people.
That is where we are at. And that's why I think and think about the move with Elise Stefanik. You have to think at this point that the administration is a little nervous about what's going to happen today.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. Elise Stefanik was going to leave to be UN ambassador, big deal, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
That's no loss to us. I don't care.
Right.
I don't think the UN is that important anyway, so who cares? She's much more effective as a congresswoman representing upstate New York for us. Well, for you guys, I guess I should say.
Well, think about it. She now covers Watertown and Griffiths. So Rome Labs, all of that, and having someone with her clout is nothing but good for us in this area.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're projecting down here, the fine, the Republican is in for a significant underperformance here. I think what the mistake that has been made here is that plucking members from Congress to go to an administration, you got every Republican in Florida to come out and vote.
Yeah.
And now you're asking them, can you come out one more time, please?
Right.
I think that's asking a lot. People have stuff to do. We have lives.
Yeah.
You can't ask people to keep doing this. And I think that could be a fatal mistake that was made. We'll see tomorrow, I guess.
We will, right.
Yeah, or even later tonight.
Or maybe...
Or later tonight.
Or maybe we won't find out for a while.
Yeah, could be.
Right?
No, Florida's good. The last presidential election, we knew before midnight, if not sooner than that. Not that was a...
Well, what I'm saying is, if this thing is so close, you got to sit and wait on a recount and absentee ballots. It'll who knows? But it'll be interesting. I'll tell you one funny story. While we were down for Andrew's wedding, which was in Fort Myers, we had one day before we came back, and my wife said, "Listen, if we're coming down here, we're going to at least go to the beach." So we did. Yeah. Number one, that Margaritaville, they sell day passes where you can go to all of these resorts in Florida, and you can get a day pass. So you can go. But let me tell you, it is. I don't know. Maybe I've just gotten older, but it was rowdy. It was party time, which there was a point in my life where I loved that, and maybe I still do. But
we drove down. We did a Jeep drive. We wanted to do all the bridges, so we drove the Jeep down to Key West a few weeks ago, and we stayed at a Margaritaville down there, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We've had Bike Week down here, which has just been, this year wasn't as bad. I think it was a little chillier, so we didn't have quite as many. We still had hundreds of thousands of bikers.
That's incredible.
and we've had spring break the past few weeks, which has just been millions of people. And I think next week we have Jeep Week. So it's one thing after the other after the other. Not to mention they're all starting with the Daytona 500 and President Trump flying in and all that kind of stuff. That was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But tis the season.
And the other part that I find interesting is the calmness of the water on the Gulf side of Florida.
Maybe that's why hurricanes are so bad, because the water is just calm and
it is
like glass.
Well, the other thing, and one more funny story, is we were definitely in Trump country when we were in Fort Myers, as we're on the beach. And they let you bring, because the water is so calm, you can bring your boats right up to basically to the beach and dock, throw an anchor in, and you're out partying, you're diving off your boat, whatever. And there were these young group of people, but they're playing the music through the whole day. So blaring off this beautiful boat was song after song, and they were like playing DJ. But the point that I'm going to make, they play Lee Greenwood's "God Bless the USA." It ends in applause and people chanting Trump on the beach. I thought that was, then you are in Trump country.
Shoot me, I was going to say, it sounds like before you said Lee Greenwood, I thought you might have been at Harpoons listening to Showtime or something like that.
Or Classified. Remember those great days, really? Yep.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff.
We tried to do something, speaking of Classified, Bill, we tried to do something again to do a surprise date up there again this summer, but, it's just impossible.
Yeah.
People's lives have moved on, and and there's other things. It's not just coming up to do the show. There's rehearsals and other stuff, and we just couldn't pull it off this year. But never say never. Maybe next summer. Who knows?
Listen, I had heard there was a rumor that SNL offered you guys like $500,000 to do a reunion, and you were just a few blocks away, and you and Larry were like, what do you think? Should we do it or not? And you decided not to do it.
Well, I was all for it. Larry said, I don't know. I think they can do better.
That's great. All right. Good stuff, Greeley. Thank you as always.
Nice talking to you guys. Have a good day.
You do the same. And 82-degree weather. You try to find some way to have a wonderful day. Quick break. 8:28. Megan updates the news coming up on WIBX.
Mattress Express's closeout sale on brand new leftover inventory and floor models. Right now, buy a king or queen and get a free adjustable base. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers, and no credit check payment plans available as well.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time. It's 8:29. I'm Megan Stone. It's 32 degrees and cloudy outside. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. Today is April Fool's Day, so be careful what you fall for. While there may be no clear official origin, references to the 1st April as the day of trickery date all the way back to the 14th century. The first recorded April Fool's Day was in France in 1582. It's believed that April 1st was celebrated as New Year's Day before the Gregorian calendar changed it to January 1st. Those who didn't get the word around the change were called fools, and people played tricks on them. Lawmakers will be back at the Capitol today as they try and pass a brand new state budget. The state budget director believes it is unlikely a deal will be reached today and says his agency has already come up with a roughly $1.7 billion budget extender. If approved, that would allow for Medicaid payments and also state workers to get their next paychecks on time. Lawmakers are scheduled to recess for about 2 weeks for Passover and Easter on April 10th. The Supreme Court looks like it may side with Catholic Charities in a case over exempting some religiously affiliated groups from some state taxes. The charity group brought the case against the Wisconsin's court and had distinguished between groups that teach doctrine and those that do not, like Catholic Charities. The state had denied the group exemption from paying unemployment taxes and says employees will be covered by a church-affiliated entity if the high court rules in its favor. A decision in that case heard Monday is expected by the end of June. And regulators in the state of Colorado are issuing licenses for providing psychedelic mushrooms and for planning authorizations for the state's first healing centers. Colorado has received applications for at least 15 healing center licenses, 9 cultivation licenses, 4 manufacturer's licenses, and 1 testing facility license for growing and preparing mushrooms. Colorado law does not allow retail sales of psychedelic mushrooms, but does allow for adults 21 and over to grow, use, and share psilocybin for personal use. 8:31, here is your Weather Center forecast.
Colder air now settling in. Didn't see any reports of severe weather yesterday, and that's a good thing. Clouds around give way to clear sky this morning. Mostly sunny out, or just above 40. This afternoon, the gusty breeze will make it feel colder. Cold night tonight, low 20s. Teens into the Adirondacks. Chance of showers tomorrow late, mid-40s. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm, and 70 degrees by Thursday. I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
32 degrees and cloudy outside. I'm Megan Stone.
Coming up, I have this I thought was interesting, and maybe it's depressing. I don't know. But scientists have now been able to pinpoint the age when you begin to lose it. Go in the other direction. I'll get to that coming up in a second. The First Bloom Bridal event is on now through the end of this month, April 30th, at Steve Lennon and Company Jewelers in the Village of New Hartford. It's a 30% off engagement ring settings, buy one, get one free. Wedding bands, in-store, 12-month interest-free financing with some exclusions, and an amazing custom bridal line with custom-made wedding rings and bands and repairs are done in-store. There is a jeweler on the premises. You don't have to send your jewelry out to get it repaired. And they have an artist there, a gemologist, GIA certified master jewelers. So you can actually have a dream, have a vision of something you want to create, and they'll make it for you. Steve Lennon and Company Jewelers. Come in and see them at 23 Genesee Street, New Hartford. Your trusted jeweler for over 30 years. Private appointments are available upon request.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, you want to hear when you start to lose it as you get older? Are you ready?
When you're 14.
Believe it or not, the loss and the deterioration of your mind, your brain, while very slow, does begin in your 40s. According to the Mayo Clinic study of aging, researchers were able to identify 3 major transition points in aging, and see if this is anything that would make you feel like, yeah, I think they're right. Okay, they say 3 different points. Number 1, at age 43.7 years, when the onset of destabilization, metabolic destabilization, actually begins. Now, it's slow, but it begins in your early 40s. Then the next pivotal time in your life, they say, is at age 66.7 years, when the most rapid destabilization takes place. And then 89.7 years, when destabilization reaches its plateau. Insulin resistance can also play a significant role. So once you get to be 90, you've kind of stabilized. You are what you are.
Yep.
Some don't do as well.
And that's when they run for office.
Others, that's right. That's when people decide, I think I'm going to run for office and become, something, president of the United States. So there you go. Those are your 3 key age groups or age markers when you start to lose it. Davey, you turned what this year?
I turned 52 weeks ago from yesterday.
Oh, yeah, you're screwed. Really bad. Mm-hmm.
So I went to the doctor yesterday and everything's good. But then she informed me, she said, Dave, since you turned 50, you got to get your shingle shot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said, okay, schedule it.
I think my wife got hers, and I think she's got an infection from it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
She did tell me, she did say that some of her patients that she's seen, it's a 2 dosage. The first one's
you gotta
okay.
do 2.
It's the second dosage that you get like body aches and stuff.
Yeah, she did. That's what Allison got. 35th anniversary today of Comedy Central. Bill Morehouse asked, so when did Biden start to lose it? I got to tell you, I think from the time that he ran.
For vice president.
Well, no, I think the time that he ran for president, when he was running for president. Remember, at one point he was on a bike.
Yeah.
Something happened in the middle there where it got really bad. And
he had a lot of gaffes as vice president, if you remember, when he said it was a big effing deal. And that
Joe Biden had gaffes when he was 38 years old. That's what he was known for. But the decline in his mobility, doing the Biden shuffle when he was walking wherever, it was about midway through his term. That's when the Democrats should have realized you can't be the candidate.
I will say this until the cows come home. He never should have run for president to begin with.
Okay, so today is the 35th anniversary. On this date, April 1st, 1990, Comedy Central was born.
Oh, congratulations.
And, actually, do you remember what Comedy Central was before it really became Comedy Central?
I do.
What was it called?
Oh, no, I just remember what Comedy Central was before it. Sorry. You know when old cable versus new cable with all the reality shows? That's where I thought you were going with it.
The name of the program was HA, H-A exclamation point. It was an all-comedy network, and several Many comedians were featured on the promos, and Phil Hartman, a lot of SNL people. And then somewhere along the line, the Comedy Channel came in, and they ended up merging the two for what we know today as Comedy Central. This interesting movie news: Warner Brothers has sold Coyote versus Acme to a company called Ketchup Entertainment. So it's hitting theaters after all. There's just no word when the Coyote versus Acme movie will hit theaters. Back in November of 2023, the movie was shelved, but they say it will be
cost-cutting measures.
It will be coming out. Director Sam Mendes says his biopic of the individual Beatles will hit theaters in April of 2028. Here are all four introducing themselves as part of his biopic. Little teaser.
Hello, my name's Paul McCartney and I play bass guitar. Hello, people there. I'm George Harrison and I play solo guitar. Yeah.
This is Ringo Starr and I play drums. And this is John Lennon and I play better guitar.
New John Lennon documentary is coming out next month. It's called Borrowed Time, Lennon's Last Decade. It'll feature rare archive footage and never-before-seen interviews, and here is part of the trailer on that one, which hits theaters on May 2nd.
John Lennon, he said, I've got something to tell you. I've left the Beatles. And I thought, you're crazy.
Well, the Beatles were splitting up themselves, disintegrating. I don't want to be trapped again with the same musicians making the same sound. I, as an individual, don't feel satisfied as an artist, or I would stop. I must always go on. This is only the beginning. This 60s was just waking up in the morning, I just can't wait. I'm so glad to be around.
That comes out just a few weeks. And we talked about this earlier. A woman went on TikTok to vent after she and I guess, Megan, you bring up a point on this story, and I do wonder how the guy had access to her hair, but here's the story. She fell asleep on a cross-country flight, and while up in the air, the guy sitting behind her braided her hair. He did one small braid in the back, and then at some point started taking pictures of it. She said she did not get to confront him, but is out on TikTok saying, I want you to reach out to me. I want to talk to you. You should never have braided my hair. She didn't realize it was braided until she got to her Airbnb.
There's just some weird things that people are now doing on planes.
How in the world, though, did he ever even have access? Was her hair flopped back? Because I have had that happen on a plane.
Oh, you did?
Especially like on an Allegiant plane, not my hair, but on an Allegiant plane where you're very much in tight quarters. Yeah. You want to say, excuse me, can you get your hair out of my seat? Because it's right in my face. Here's what the woman whose hair was braided has to say about this.
To the man that braided my hair while I was asleep on the plane, I need you to come forth immediately. You sat directly behind me. Some people might say, how did you let somebody braid your hair? First of all, when I get on the plane, I don't sleep. I hibernate. I remember specifically, I'm asleep on the plane and I hear and I said, who is taking pictures? And when I wake up, it's literally right in my ear. That's where I found the braid. Don't touch people while they're asleep. It's weird.
It is a little on the weird side. We had a guy sitting next to us on the plane ride home that spent the whole time flirting with the what do they call them now? They're not stewardesses anymore. Flight attendants. Flirting with the flight attendants.
Oh,
and
so
apparently
smooth.
Apparently he must fly every week because he said, hey, you're going to be here next Monday. That's when we were flying on a Monday. But he brought all of the flight attendants lottery tickets. And they're all scratching off their lottery tickets. And, hey, I'll see you later.
Small perk of the job, I guess.
Because they all end up somewhere. And maybe he ends up in a hotel. You never know. They could. I think his goal was to hook up. Steve Punny Mazda, the Mazda sales event continues with their increased inventory. Over 150 new Mazdas available. Save on a new Mazda lease or enjoy 0.9 APR financing on new 2025 Mazda CX-30s, 5s, 50s, CX-70s, and CX-90s. See Rick or anybody at the dealership for details. As Rick says, come in, let's make your deal on a new Mazda from the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction because they treat people so well. It's Deep Pawnee Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. All right. Kate Kuhn. Do I say it properly? Is that how you pronounce it?
Keen.
You're saying Keen?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Or is it? Oh, it is Keen. I see the pronouncer there. Analyst for worldwide technology, and she is a cybersecurity expert. The next wave of AI is here. It's not going to be on your iPhone necessarily. Autonomous AI agents are amazingly scary. And Kate Keen is on the line right now. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right. So what does this mean? What is an AI agent?
Well, an AI agent really just refers to a new type of AI. You were talking about, autonomous AI, and what that's referring to is a version of AI called agentic AI. And what that does is it can autonomously make decisions, take actions, and learn to achieve specific goals with really minimal human interaction. So, you were saying it's not going to be on your iPhone. Well, guess what? Siri, it's a version of autonomous.
It's already there. Yeah. And today, by the way, there's an update which adds more AI. It's that next stage for Siri. And you're right. So, you're talking about little things like remembering your habits, for instance. Like
exactly
on my car, all of a sudden it'll pop up and say, you're 10 minutes from home. How does it know that I'm headed home? Because I tend to do that at that time every day, and the AI remembers. I'm saying that with a question mark. I'm assuming that's the case.
That's exactly right. So, agentic AI systems operate through a cycle of perception, reasoning, action, and learning. So gathering data from the environment, processing that data like you drive home every day at 5 o'clock to understand the situation. It decides what to do based on the understanding. You're driving towards that location, so you're going to call it home and tell you you're a couple minutes from home. And then it takes action deciding to do what to based on that information. Like it may recommend and say, hey, it's Tuesday, you usually stop at the grocery store. You sure you don't want to go to the grocery store before you get home?
Yeah, that's interesting. And sometimes that AI might be right on your refrigerator, reminding you that you're maybe out of mayonnaise or something.
That is helpful, though.
What do you think of all of this?
Well, as a technologist and as a cybersecurity person, I always look at both sides of it. I love the opportunities. Think about we've got self-driving cars and, health systems that can aid the elderly and monitor vitals and things like, I'm a mom of 5 and autonomous home systems that, change the temperature in the house when the 3-year-old decides to jack the heat up to 90. Those things are all amazing. But on the other side, it's a risk, so the more information we put out about ourselves, our likes, our preferences, what we do, the more adversaries can also use the same AI to do better targeting, to help with spoofing, to make malicious attacks. So there's always kind of a double-edged sword between opportunity and the risks associated as we, really enter into this new world of digital revolution.
Sometimes I'm sitting there, we'll be sitting, and I'll say something to my wife, and we're talking, and all of a sudden, we have a HomePod. We have a couple of the different devices.
You have like an Echo, and
but all of a sudden, the thing will speak to us. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that. Like, what are you? You're listening to our conversation? Well, yeah, they are, right?
They are, and Amazon isn't deleting that information anymore either. Your voice.
They are listening, but, we have to think about there's the gentleman who helped create the internet, Vince Cerf, once said, that privacy is extinct. And I tend to agree with him. We walk down the road and there's facial recognition cameras taking a look at who we are. We go into stores like, there's the Amazon stores where you can just walk in and it immediately scans your code and it knows what you're going to buy and you can walk out without even paying because it just, charges your account.
Yeah.
There's a lot of benefit to the AI that's out there, but the concept of privacy and what we do day to day is something that we now have to really educate ourselves on our habits and how we leverage technology and if we're comfortable with how we're using it.
There is a story out today that looks to me like it might be recycled, but a story out today in the Wall Street Journal, maybe it was 2 days ago, 5 things you should never tell ChatGPT. Did you see that?
I didn't, but I'd love to hear about it.
So it's in the Wall Street Journal, and it says things like your you don't want to give it your intimate details, health details, things like that. These are things you don't want to tell ChatGPT. And I was wondering why. What is the danger of ChatGPT? Does it use something against you down the road?
Well, the reason, like on ChatGPT and really any what's called learned language model and LLM, the data you're talking about is what's called PII, personally identifiable information.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really kind of our version of data crown jewels. Things like, I have blonde hair and, I am 47 years old. I have 5 kids, those kinds of details. But go one step further. And the more information you can give, or you give something about your personally identifiable information, your blood type, your social security number, your health information, that is critical information that can be used to identify you and can be used to exploit you as far as, hackers and malicious actors getting too much information about you. So guarding and understanding, while the fact I happen to like Jimmy Buffett is something that's, out on my social media, other things like my personal information about my health, you want to keep more safeguarded. And that's why education is the key.
I have one thing I am dying to know. So we're looking for, I don't know, my wife and I are talking about, just in the house, talking about, let's say, a hot water heater. Our hot water heater has gone bad. We're looking for and all of a sudden, on social media, everywhere we turn, on all of our devices, I keep seeing ads for hot water heaters. Is this a coincidence, or is something listening to us?
Oh, I wish it was a coincidence, but we have Siri on our iPhones. We have Alexa in our homes, and to your point, it's always trying to fine tune and refine what is good, content for you. I look up going to Paris, and the next thing I know, I have every single ad and everything I do about Paris.
Yes.
It's meant to be helpful. And understand your preferences, but the reality is it can be kind of spooky when all of a sudden your devices all start turning on to doing the same thing.
And the other problem with this is it's convenient. It really is neat to make things easier. Like you'll hear someone say, why do I have to have a long password? Why do I have to keep changing my password? It is inconvenient. That is inconvenient. But at the same time, you really need to make sure you're protected.
That's exactly right. As we look at AI, remember, as much as we love everything we're talking about, we're all on social media. We all have digital profiles. 50% of those in the latest study are an AI agent or somebody trying to collect malicious or information on you. And understanding what information you're putting out there and how it's being used is really critical.
Do you still have a couple minutes, or do you have to go?
100%. I have all the time in the world.
Okay, good, because you've hit a note for me. I totally intrigued by all of this stuff. By the way, it's Kate, Kuehn, pronounced Keen, and she is the Chief Information Security Officer and CEO of what is the name of the company? Is it Worldwide Technology?
It's Worldwide Technology, and I'm not the CEO. I'm not as cool as Jim Kavanaugh, but I am the Area Vice President for Cyber Advocacy.
Got it. Okay. So I'm wondering, here, by the way, are the 7 things they say, or I'm not sure there's 7 here, that you should not give to ChatGPT, and I want your take. Financial information, passwords, any secrets you might have. I don't know why you would give secrets to ChatGPT. Medical or health advice, explicit content, anything you don't want the world to know. What are your thoughts?
There you go.
Well, so ChatGPT, like as I said, LLMs are what's called open source models, which means the data that goes into it's shared and used in many, many different ways by many different organizations. And so the moment you put something in ChatGPT, 1, you can't really get it back out. And 2, like if you go, oh, I made a mistake, I want that back. That's really hard. We don't have the consumer protection laws and regulations to do that, nor technically can we.
Yeah.
And then the other side of the fence is, how is it going to be used? It's one of those things that you kind of have to remember. The moment you put something in the internet, it's there no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether you want to delete it or not, there's ways to get it back. And so, you know, explicit content, you know, secrets about your life, you know, things about your health. Think about the things that are intensely private to you and think twice before you put that into an LLM. There's been examples, you know, with companies where, you know, they bring in ChatGPT. There's a lot of ways that AI is automating and being very cost effective and innovative for businesses. But, you know, a well-intentioned enterprising employee puts something into an open source model and suddenly it's no longer the company's secrets and they can't get patents around it. You know, and it can destroy new solutions for organizations. So again, we just have to get smarter on how we leverage all this new technology.
I would. We have a case here in this area that actually has been featured on Dateline, and it was a murder case, and the person who was charged had searched for things on their cell phone, on their iPhone. Colchicine is one of the drugs they searched that was used, they believe, in the alleged murder. She, by the way, has recently gotten out on a technicality. But at what point are we going to? It was the cell phone that ended up getting her convicted. At what point could ChatGPT be used to almost as if the prosecutor's interviewing a witness?
Well, there's actually it's already happening.
Wow.
So there's a very interesting case, a federal case right now. So do you guys remember the band, the Fugees?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I think it was the drummer was actually convicted on international espionage charges.
I did not know that.
The case is being reviewed and may be overturned because the attorney in the case, he was convicted, but the attorney wrote the closing argument leveraging ChatGPT, a new legal version of ChatGPT to help with the closing argument. And the defendant's claim is a computer, not a human, defended him, which is true.
Wow.
A computer wrote the closing argument. And so is it legal that he did not have human representation? And there's a very good chance that an international convicted espionage case is going to get overturned because a computer, not a human, wrote the closing argument.
That is totally wild. But, you know, if we're there now, where we're going to be in 10 years. Megan, final question.
Very quick. Kate, I assume you're a millennial or a Gen Xer, and our generations grew up believing, as we were going back to the previous points of not to say things to ChatGPT, is that you don't hand over that information. How has AI eroded that sense of, you know, leave no trace and distrust everything on the internet?
You know, it's going to be a really interesting, and I liken it to this. I've got 5 kids. You know, when I went to college, there was one computer in the bottom of a dorm with a green screen, and, you know, a phone with something with a cord. And, you know, we were very intensely private. My teenagers grew up, you know, in a world of iPhones and iPads and have always had technology as an aid. I have a 3-year-old who will never know a world without AI in it.
Right.
You know, he's lived with AI in the house. So as we evolve and as AI becomes more and more ingrained, it's a question of us, you know, really thinking about how we educate the younger generations on, you know, the importance of keeping some things to yourself.
Boy, oh boy. All right, great stuff. We appreciate it, Kate. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you. News is coming up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jose Lopez from the band Showtime.
I'm Justin from the band Showtime. We'll be the house band on May 10th at the Rome Capitol Theater during CNY On Stage Live.
It'll be a wonderful event full of great acts,
dancers, comedians, and singers.
And you could be one of those singers fronting the band Showtime on the Capitol stage.
Complete details at RomeCapital.com.
Are you ready to sing in the spotlight on the Capitol stage with Showtime?
We'll see you there.
Now, you know that no one else in New York State has all the brands under one roof that Mattress Express has. Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh & Lavish, Therapeutic, and the largest selection of FlexEd beds in New York State. But when these companies come out with new models, we get left with brand new inventory of the old model and floor models that we have to sell off as clearance, and that's where you save. These come with the full manufacturer's warranty, many of them still in the original packaging, brand new stuff. Right now, come into Mattress Express, Pick a king or queen clearance model and even some new models and get a free adjustable base. Save over what you would have paid originally and get a free adjustable base. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers, and we have no credit check payment plans. Go to mattressexpressny.com.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
They're still working out who to charge and how much. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. In the hours before what President Trump calls Liberation Day tomorrow.
In a sense, it's a rebirth of a country because how we could have afforded to do what we did, we helped everybody, and they don't help us.
He's going to impose reciprocal tariffs on more imports on countries that charge for American exports.
There are still some key details that we don't know, including how many countries will be affected, what type of tariffs will be imposed. Will it be a universal tariff or individual tariff rates for each country? The president is also betting tariffs will eventually pay off for the American worker because they say companies will be incentivized to build their products in the U.S.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera. But on Wall Street, stock futures are falling again before April's trading after a big March sell-off on worry about tariffs leading to inflation. The Nasdaq went down 8%.
They don't want to see.
Now, when it comes to the Senate, Democrats continue their resistance. Last night and all this morning, Cory Booker, a Democrat, on the floor talking, railing against the Trump agenda.
I ask everybody to understand this is not a normal moment in America. This is a crossroads moment in America.
As the cutbacks continue, layoff notice is going out today to the first of 10,000 federal workers that will be let go of the Department of Health and Human Services. Voters go to the polls in 2 states. 2 vacant House seats up for grabs in Florida. Democrats trying to flip both to shrink the Republican House majority, but both districts have been GOP strongholds. In Wisconsin, a state Supreme Court seat's on the ballot. Susan Crawford trying to win it to keep the court liberal-leaning.
They don't want to see some outsiders, some billionaire come in and try to buy a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, which is, what Elon Musk is trying to do.
The conservative Brad Schimmel, who's hoping to win and shift the court balance to the right, tells Fox.
This is gross. They're just doing all this to try to distract from what's happening on their side. They are now the party of the big money elite.
About $100 million spent by both sides in the race. America's listening to Fox News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.